Zoriel Smith and the Hampton Pirates stumbled against Florida A&M, but still feel they're in the running for the MEAC title. Taji Paris and the Bethune Cookman Wildcats feel the same way. Alvin Wyatt, Joe Taylor. Is hope alive? Their matchup next. Municipal Stadium at Daytona Beach, Florida. The Hampton Pirates and Bethune Cookman Wildcats in the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference Game of the Week. Hi, everyone, along with Mark Gray, Dwayne Ballin, and this is a time of year, partner, that teams begin to look at the standings, especially these two.
Well, normally when you come into this point in the season, you cannot afford two losses in the MEAC. Not since 1988 has a team with two losses won the conference championship. That's where Hampton is today. Do or die for the Pirates. As far as Bethune-Cookman is concerned, they're trying to rebound from an emotional loss. They don't have destiny in their own hands right now, but they know that if their road to the championship is going to start, they have to win today.
We're going to see some exciting players today, beginning with Hampton's Mr. Cash.
Boy, Atavius Cash began the season as the starting quarterback. Now he's going to play the most versatile role in the Hampton offense, replacing Terrence Patrick in the slot position. He says that the advantage that playing quarterback gives him as a receiver is that he knows the holes in the defense. Dwayne, I submit he's going to have to find those holes today.
Man finding holes for Bethune-Cookman is Taji Parrish.
Well, Parrish can simply do it all. We've seen him throw passes this year. We've seen him catch passes this year. And we've also seen him direct the offense against Delaware State in the second half in Philadelphia. Very talented, versatile offensive weapon. He sort of is the engine that makes that Bethune Wildcat offense go.
Our USA Airways quarterback comparison, a youngster still trying to find himself and one of the best players in the country.
Well, I think Tim Frazier from Hampton University has the world of potential. He was a little bit too jacked up last week, so after starting 6 for 7, he ends up 9 of 19. Had problems with the protection from the backside. After getting sacked, it rattled him just a little bit. As far as Bethune-Cookman, Allen Super, simply the most versatile all-around quarterback in the conference. He has a big-time arm to get the ball downfield, is a master at running the option, and that's a big concern for Hampton today, shutting down Allen Suber's ability to run that option offense. As Joe Taylor put it, he's simply the best quarterback for the wide bone offense.
Frame of mind for both of these teams is key. For more on that, we bring in the third member of our team today, Ryan Baker. Ryan?
Hampton head coach Joe Taylor told me just a few minutes ago the one thing he's been pounding in his players' head this week is character. He says that's the one thing that's going to help them move on from that disappointing loss a week ago to FAMU. As for Bethune-Cookman, Coach Alvin Wyatt won't have a problem pumping up at least 13 of his players, and those are the seniors who are playing their final game here at Municipal Stadium in Daytona Beach. Should be a lot of emotion out here on this field today. Let's go back upstairs to Dwayne and Mark.
It's senior day for the Bethune-Cookman Wildcats. Nobody wants to disappoint mom and dad. Kickoff next. Stadium, Daytona Beach, Florida. Hampton and Bethune-Cookman ready to go. Joe Taylor brings his Hampton Pirates into this one. He's in his 10th season in Hampton, 82-30-1, winning seasons in 8 of his last 9 years. And across the field from him will be Alvin Wyatt, 1970 graduate of Bethune-Cookman, his 5th season at his alma mater, 33-18. He led the Wildcats to a 9-2 record in 2000.
And more impressively, he's won the last 3 against BCC, and this has been a tough part of the country for the Pirates here since 1998. Dwayne, they've struggled since beating Florida A&M at that time, winning a game versus a team in this state. So one understands why the road to the championship has been so tough for Hampton, because the potholes have been down here in Florida.
Series just 6 games old. It is 500 between the two, 33, 34, 31 last year. Bethune-Cookman beating Hampton. Hampton Pirates, as we mentioned, trying to shake off a very disappointing loss to Florida A&M.
Series of missed opportunities in that contest, Dwayne. They had a 76-yard punt return that was called back. Even with that, the ball was spotted at the 28-yard line of North Carolina A&T, but they could not even get a field goal out of it, and that's one that kind of stuck in the craw of Alvin Wyatt all week long.
Well, Hampton wins the coin toss and has elected to receive, so they will put their offense on the field first. Terrence Patrick will receive the kick. Patrick, who usually starts in a slot, will do mostly receiving today because of a groin injury. First in the MEAC, and kickoff returns. Travis Hales and Terrence Patrick are back. Await the kickoff of Kidd.
Patrick normally plays a slot position on offense, but his groin has been bothering him for about the last month, so you'll only see him on kickoff return duties today.
Travis Hales, running back, will be joining Patrick back to receive Michael Kidd's kick. Beautiful afternoon here at Daytona Beach, Florida. The Hampton band even made the trip down from Virginia for this one. Both of these teams could not emphasize enough how much they still feel they are in the race for the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference Championship. And today, as far as they are concerned, is the point of no return.
Certainly, that's the case for Hampton, and Bethune-Cookman knows that chances are with 2 losses, lightning will not strike as far as the championship is concerned. It's a great day for a game, though, isn't it? It's terrific.
Absolutely beautiful. Bethune-Cookman comes in 4-1 in the conference, Hampton 3-2, and we are underway. Patrick fields the kickoff. Finds some running room down along the near sideline before he's finally knocked out of bounds.
So a good kickoff for the Pirates.
Coming out on the field for Hampton, leading them is the sophomore, 6'2", 200-pound Timothy Frazier from Baltimore. Tough outing last week, we alluded to, 54 of 102 yards, 523 yards for the season. But last week, 9 of 19, 53 yards and 3 interceptions.
But he looked good early. He was 6 of his first 7, and then the bottom fell out. Puts a big burden on the O-line to step up and protect him.
In the backfield behind him is Robert Smith, who gets the first call over the right side. Pickup of maybe 2. Take a look at our United States Postal Service starting lineups. Backs and receivers for Hampton: Smith, Allen, Smith, Compton, and Blount.
Zuriel Smith, the 5th leading receiver in terms of reception yards in the history of Hampton University.
Offensive line. Talk more about that in a moment. On second down, nothing doing for Hampton.
We talk about the Hampton offensive line, a bit of a makeshift on the right side. McCall in to the lineup, moves from tackle to guard. Kevin Johnson now in at right tackle.
The men trying to stop them: Baggs, Smith, Saunders, and Hudson for Bethune-Cookman. Linebackers: Williams, Hubbard, and Oglesby.
Well, Baggs leads the team with 6 INTs, and of course Bubba Hubbard, number 1 in tackles with 2.5. And check that, I said Baggs leads the team in sacks.
Referee Sam Jones with the call, a marker on the play, penalty against the defensive unit. Ball on the 46-yard line for Hampton. Opening series of the game. Patrick to the air. Atavius Cash, who is stopped by Toro Robinson.
Well, that's a good job of Bethune-Cookman staying at home on the defensive side of the football that time. Coach Wyatt told me yesterday, Dwayne, he was scared of the flanker screen, and they tried to get the ball into a situation to set up the screen for Smith. Good job of the pursuit, getting outside, taking the play away.
That brings on Tellis Bolden to punt away. And awaiting at his on 10-yard line is Bethune-Cookman's Rasheem Mathis. Mathis called for a fair catch. He caught it. That's a live ball.
Touchdown Hampton, I believe. He touched that football. Yes, he did.
Touchdown Hampton Pirates. A major mistake by a seasoned all-star candidate.
Well, Mathis just muffs the ball, and I don't know what happened. Now, he calls the fair catch, and it just goes right through his hands, and he really is not able to get to the football, and Hampton University falls on the football. Take it out, look at it one more time, as Brian Sawyer is going to just track that ball down as it's lying there in the end zone, and a gift touchdown for the Pirates. So maybe, just maybe, a little bit of homecoming still having lingering after effect against Bethune-Cookman.
Very interesting turn of events on the first play by the special teams punting for Hampton. Joe Taylor said they wanted to establish something early, but I'm not sure that this is the way he had it mapped out in the playbook.
No, but after the disappointing performance in the second half last week, I'm sure Coach Taylor will take it, and I think Coach Wild wants some clarification. I think he may have thought, as Mathis did, that because of the fair catch that the ball was dead. An amazing turn of events to start this game, much like we saw last week.
Bethune Cookman, that -1 turnover margin, 4th in the conference. And Wyatt is very upset right now, understandably, because he told us before the game when we chatted with him, I have to have them thinking the right way, thinking forward. And this is the last thing he would want to happen in the opening minutes.
That is what you call emotional residue.
Tellis Bolden on for the extra point. Brian Sawyer recovering a fumble punt in the end zone for Hampton's first touchdown of the game, first score of the game. It's misfortune for Bethune Cookman, but lady luck for Hampton. Pirates take advantage of a mistake. In Daytona Beach, Florida, the Hampton band has much to play for right now. Their Pirates take advantage of a mistake on a punt and score a touchdown. Lead 7-0, 13:38 to go. Tellis Bolden kicking off to Norman Graham and Javon Henry. It's Henry that fields it, and he is almost wrapped up, eludes 2 tacklers, breaks out just beyond the 34-yard line, where he's brought down by Christopher Parker.
Boy, Parker does a great job saving this touchdown. Now watch, he'll bounce off 1 tackler, a couple of more bad arm tackles, which was so prevalent for Hampton last week at home against Florida A&M. And fortunately, Parker was in there to save a touchdown. That was the lone man between he and the goal line.
Javon Henry runs back, sets up first down at the 34-yard line for Bethune Cookman. We will get our first look at Alan Suber.
Well, we saw him earlier in the season, but we didn't see the real Alan Suber. He was hampered by a bad ankle. He says he's about 95 to 100%. He expects to be able to do just about everything he wants to be able to do today.
Lone set back in the backfield is Marcus Goggins behind Suber. Suber with the pitch. And that's near a first down for Eric Lash. Our United States Postal Service starting lineups. Bethune Cookman backs and receivers Goggins, Lash, Reed, Parrish, and Hubbard.
Suber says that he really wants to establish Marcus Goggins because that takes a lot of the pressure off the offense.
Offensive line, Franklin, Joseph, Herndon, Chapman, and Sapp.
Herndon, 3-year starter, All-America candidate at center.
That did set up a first down, the Lash reception. So now it's 1st and 10 at the 41 for Bethune Cookman. Starting somewhat behind the 8 ball. Goggins breaks open to the 40, up the sidelines. And he's finally caught and knocked out of bounds by Vincent Lewis. Big play for Marcus Goggins.
Well, watch. Between Herndon and Sapp, there's a big hole. He's going to take it right up through there and explode into the secondary. And he wasn't able to outrush the angle of the defensive backs, Lewis and Oliver. But Goggins right up the gut. And that's where Bethune Cookman thought Hampton was a little soft.
That 40-yard run sets up 1st and 19 at the Hampton, deep in Hampton territory. Bethune Cookman. Marker on the play. Eric Lasher along the left side. United States Postal Service defensive starting lineups for Hampton. Greg Scott, Murphy, Hilton. They're another different defensive look this week.
Scott getting a lot of looks from the NFL, but Autry and Oliver at the outside linebacker positions. Look for them both to spy on Alan Suber. And, of course, Vincent Lewis, the safety, struggling to recover from a bout with concussions.
Infraction against the Hampton defensive unit.
Joe Taylor talked about wanting his team to play disciplined defense. Alan Suber has just abused them a couple of times with beautiful ball fakes. running the option.
Pirates now at the 10-yard line trying to defend against Bethune Cookman, who's knocking on the door. It's Goggins powering his way into the end zone. Touchdown, Bethune Cookman.
Well, right back to the same hole that led to the explosive first play, which set up the touchdown. Right between Sapp and Herndon, the hole opens, and he just carries defenders into the end zone. And what a beautiful drive. See, a dive, and nobody is able to put a hand on Goggins until he's virtually in the end zone.
And the conference's Mr. Automatic, Danny Mathis, adds his 29th out of 29 extra points. It is now a tie game, 7-7.
Well, that was a very impressive drive. I mean, when you consider they marched down the field 70 yards in 4 plays and they don't throw a pass, oh boy, you get the feeling that the wide bone is getting cranked up. A special teams goof foul by Mathis.
Robert Smith for Hampton on the carry. Our National Car Rental scoring drive. 4 plays, 70 yards, 1 minute, 21 seconds.
On that drive, though, Marcus Goggins, 50 yards by his lonesome.
Goggins off to a very impressive start.
Hampton back with the no huddle.
Timothy Frazier bringing the Pirates out, looking to pass. That one low, intended for Zuriel Smith.
I don't know if the ball was wet or something, but he had a nice lane and a good pocket to set up in and step up in there and deliver that pass. Zuriel Smith lost his footing. Now, roughly an hour before game time, we were hit by one of those classic Florida showers. Lasts about 10 or 15 minutes, and it does nothing but soak down the field, and it's a little slippery out there right now.
Now in the backfield, Travis Hales. Frazier going to the air again, and once again he's looking for Smith, but he cannot get the ball to him.
He's not comfortable in the pocket. I think he's a little shell-shocked right now, Dwayne, based upon the shot that he took last week, which led to fumble. He's not setting back in that pocket with any confidence right now. And, of course, the big guys got up front got to understand that they got to give him some time. And Shane Mathis goes back, and I think he'll focus in on that football a little bit more this time, Dwayne.
So Tellis Bolden back out to punt for the second time in this game. 11-19 to go in the first quarter. A tie game, 7-7 between Hampton and Bethune Cookman. Mathis fumbled the last time. This time, he does not field it at all. It is down at the 25-yard line, which is where Alan Suber and the Wildcats will take over. Mathis, an all-star candidate, hasn't had the numbers this year that he had last year.
Yeah, he led the nation in interceptions last year, but people aren't throwing in his direction, and it's opened up some things for other players in the defensive backfield. And Joe Taylor knows a little thing or two about opening things up, and I think Alvin Wyatt wants to let his offense.
Wyatt's team last week was a tough loss to A&T, and he said the hardest job for him is getting his players off of that game.
You're right.
I had trouble, big problems, big-time problems, trying to get our kids to forget about what happened yesterday as far as the A&T football game is concerned, because that was truly a championship football game for them, and it took a lot out of them. They were really prepared for it, and we came up on the short end of it. And my whole practice this week was trying to get them to put that behind them and move forward.
On first down, Marcus Goggins carrying the ball and loses it. And recovered by Hampton. Greg Scott picked it up, and Hampton has the ball, 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line.
Well, they try to go back to that same hole that was so effective, and the handoff is just bad. Goggins just loses it, and it's picked up by Hampton. Now, let's take a look. He never takes the handoff from Alan Suber, and Scott's able to get in there and pick up that football. And Hampton's offense with a golden scoring opportunity here.
Well, on first down, Bethune Cookman's defensive unit steps up this time and allows very little room for maneuvering for Carlton Morant.
Well, Morant, and that play was doomed from the start because of a bad exchange between quarterback and tailback. He bobbled that football and almost put it on the turf. Hampton's fortunate that they do get a 1-yard gain, though.
2nd and 19, 2nd and 9 from the 19. Frazier, again, his pass is low. Third consecutive time we've seen that on the pass play.
Not stepping up into the pocket and throwing a confident pass.
And Atavius Cash, the man who had quarterback most of the season, talking to him right there.
And I think that's what he's saying. Come on, Tim. And Frazier is a great pocket passer. I mean, this kid can throw the football.
Pirates now facing 3rd and 9 at the 19-yard line. Score tied at 7. And it's Morant in the end zone for a touchdown. Excellent blocking by the Pirates.
And a great bit of field generalship that time by Timothy Frazier. His maneuvering of the football to sell the outside pitch on an inside run, open up the hole. And Coach Watts looking for answers for his defense right now. See, look, he gives it, and on the delay, Morant goes up in there, but Frazier was able to take pursuit with him off a beautiful ball fake to the outside, which opened up the inside for Morant to score.
Tellis Bolden adds the extra point. Carlton Morant gives Hampton a 7-point lead, 19-yard run. 3 plays, 20 yards, just 41 seconds. Talk about efficiency for Joe Taylor's squad.
Well, I mean, normally the tradition in this conference is for coaches to give gifts. Bethune Cookman is giving gifts to Hampton. Now watch. Great fake by Tim Frazier to take the pursuit with him to the outside. Meanwhile, on the inside off the handoff, Morant has a nice hole opened up, and he carries it into the end zone for the score. But again, you know, we often talk about the gifts that the coaches are giving. Look at what Bethune Cookman has given Hampton. They gave him a touchdown after the Rasheed Mathis goof on the fumble, and then they also fumble the football down here with Goggins. 2 turnovers, 14 Hampton points.
Bolden's kickoff will be fielded by Javon Henry at the 10-yard line. And he breaks up the middle. One more man to beat. The kicker, Bolden, stops him at the 43-yard line.
Well, the turf got him. And remember I told you about the wet turf? This is a beautiful setup. Right up the center of the field. And he has a nice wedge there. See, he wants to put a move on right here, loses his footing, which made the Bolden a tackler. You know, Bolden guaranteed coming into the season nobody would take it to the house against him. I submit it was between him and the goal line which kept that from happening on that last play.
So the Wildcats, who have had problems holding onto the ball early in the game, take over 1st and 10 at their 42-yard line. Very little there for Goggins, as Greg Scott, the man who recovered the fumble on the last series, greets him. Scott, of course, will be in the Hula Bowl in January. Very talented defensive lineman.
Boy, he just came from his end position that time like a howitzer.
6'5", 260-pound senior from Cortland, Virginia. Loss of 1 on the play. Goggins, the lone setback again behind Suber. Lash goes into motion. Lash takes the pitch and is greeted and hard by Darial Diab.
Boy, now when Joe Taylor looks at the film on this play, he's going to show everybody about staying at home. And that's exactly what the strong safety does in that particular situation. The redshirt freshman stays at home, reads the play, and makes a beautiful one-on-one tackle. He was out there in coverage, Dwayne. He took away the pitch man, then made a great play on the ball to knock him down.
9:05 to go in the first quarter of our Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference game of the week. 3rd down and long for Alan Suber, and Bethune Cookman under pressure. Tucks it away, runs. Not quite there for the first down. He's chased out of bounds by Greg Scott and Stanley Autry.
Did you see the quickness of Alan Suber? As soon as he makes his decision, see, watch, he's fired. He goes from 1st to 3rd gear in about a millisecond, and Greg Scott's not going to catch him. Nobody's going to catch him. They do force him out of bounds about 2 yards short of the first down. So Hampton's D steps up, if for only 1 drive.
That brings on Zach Adrian to punt away to Zuriel Smith. He calls for a fair catch, does not field the ball, takes a Bethune Cookman bounce just inside the 14-yard line. As where Hampton will take over leading 14-7. So far, this Bethune-Cookman defense, which is regarded as one of the best in the country, hasn't exactly looked razor sharp.
Coach Taylor told us last night that this team struggles playing in space. So if you can spread them out, force them to have to make some one-on-one plays, he felt that his offensive players had a good job of taking advantage of Alvin Wyatt's defensive unit like that. And that's basically beautiful game plan right now. Spreading them out, forcing them to play one-on-one. Bethune hadn't been up to the challenge yet.
Burson's hit on the 14. It's Cash with the ball, but read perfectly by the Bethune-Cookman Wildcats. Cash is a young man that Taylor told us can do so many things. He cannot be on the bench. We spoke with him about utilizing him today.
Cash is the kind of guy that you have to put on the field. He's one of the team leaders, again, very athletic, and the pro scouts were saying they're happy to see this because, you know, he's a draftable guy, and they didn't know whether DB, wide receiver, or quarterback. But having all those opportunities and options is going to help him in the future, and certainly for us, he's got to be on that football field.
Well, the Wildcat D was happy to see Cash on that previous play, Dwayne.
They reacted quite well to it. Cash says he just, and they said Cash handled it really well when Patrick was named the starter again for this week.
Tim Frazier.
Tim Frazier was named the starter again.
And it was just amazing to listen to him talk about that very thing last night. Such a grounded young fellow. Talks about he wants to return to his hometown of Washington, D.C. and work in the community once his college days are over.
On third down, Frazier to the air, looking in the direction of Zuriel Smith. Nothing there. Let's check in with Ryan Baker.
One thing that's interesting about this game, maybe two heads are better than one. Both Hampton and Bethune-Cookman are using both their starting and backup quarterbacks on offense. You know about Hampton, how they're using Frazier and Cash, but Bethune-Cookman is using Suber and Parrish as on offense as well.
Makes them a lot more dangerous. You have two players out there that think more than just the average offensive player would think because of the quarterback experience. Tellis Bolden to punt it away. Rasheem Mathis is backed up, lets it go. And the Wildcats will take over at the 41-yard line. Pretty good field position for them. They trail by 7 here at Municipal Stadium at Daytona Beach, Florida. More MEAC Game of the Week after this. Cookman Wildcats trailing 14-7 to Hampton. 7:10 to go in the first quarter. Alvin Wyatt's team got itself basically behind the 8 ball early, Mark Gray.
Yeah, a gift touchdown after a muffed punt and another touchdown following a fumbled football. So the benevolent Wildcats to start this contest.
So on first down, it's Marcus Goggins, who is wrapped up quickly and gets very little.
That soft area of the defensive front that Bethune-Cookman had exploited on that previous drive to score their first touchdown, they've solidified themselves. And the linebackers are doing a good job of filling those holes, which is thwarting the running attempts up the middle right now. Super's going to have to get outside and try to make some plays right now to loosen some things up.
2nd and 9, ball on the 41 for Bethune-Cookman. Suber looking to throw, quickly tucks it away and runs. And really, that was not the wisest choice because waiting for him right there was Vernon Woodson.
Boy, Woodson came up and filled the hole. It looked like for a split second there on the half roll, he comes out here and he's going to stop and read. Nobody's open downfield, so he takes it up in there. But a good job of Woodson grabbing him around his legs and Travis Oliver coming up. Oliver lining up as an outside linebacker in this new-look Hampton defense. He's in there to shut down Suber right now. One of those spies that we talked about earlier.
Pickup of 1 on the play. 3rd and 8. Suber time to throw. Has a receiver. Nice adjustment by Eric Lash.
And you don't often talk about Lash as one of the more talented receivers here, but this is great concentration. It starts with good protection up front. He finds a soft little area between a linebacker and a cornerback on Hampton zone, and he hauls in. But a beautiful adjustment to a strike thrown by Suber.
Lash, 6 feet, 180-pounder from Panama City, Florida. That led to a first down at the 46 of Hampton. 13-yard pickup on the play. mix-up between Goggins and Suber on there. The Wildcats are out of sync right now offensively.
They really are, and it starts with a mishandled snap. I think some of these seniors like Herndon, see, that's a bad snap. All the way, it snapped back up to the hip of Suber, which dooms the play. Of course, the fact that Greg Scott is able to slide up in there off a missed assignment. So Herndon, the All-American candidate, compounded a bad snap by missing his assignment and thwarted that play, but we have an injured Pirate down.
One of the linemen for the Pirates, Joe Taylor, says that's something that has bothered him all year. Injuries.
19 players have missed significant amount of playing time this season on various sides of the football. A couple of guys out there right now who are walking wounded.
Coming up, we have much more to go this season. MEAC football. Next week we'll be in Greensboro. These very same Pirates visiting North Carolina A&T. And then on the 24th, we will watch Willie Jeffries, the legendary one at South Carolina State, coach his last game. It'll be against Norfolk State from Orangeburg.
Say it ain't so. You talk about one of the pillars in the foundation of this conference. That's Willie Jeffries.
The injured player, Walter Downing.
As you know, back to A&T for a second. Clearly in the driver's seat after their, what I would consider upset victory down here on Wildcat Homecoming weekend last week. And things do not look good for Walter Downing right now.
Downing, a 6'3", 310-pound junior from Cucamonga, Florida. Obviously, when you have to have assistance to walk off and you're favoring one leg, that is not good. More injuries for Joe Taylor's Pirates. 1st and 10 for the Bethune Cookman Wildcats. Ball at the 47-yard line of Hampton. 14-7, Pirates lead. Alan Suber started the pitch, thought better of it, and goes out of bounds as he's escorted out by Travis Oliver. Mark, I cannot overstate enough, Bethune-Cookman's offense simply doesn't look like it's flowing.
Well, you got to give credit where credit is due that time to Hampton's linebackers for doing a good job in pursuit of staying at home, being disciplined. They just continued to string that play out, not buying into either of Suber's fakes. So that was a situation, that particular play, Dwayne, of the defense just outplaying the offense for a play.
Joe Taylor's defensive shift for this game paying off, paying dividends. 3rd down, Suber under pressure from Scott, gets away from Scott, but he still goes down. Bearing down on him was Isaac Hilton.
Let's take a look at a terrific defensive play by Travis Oliver right here. He's a spy on the outside, so watch him drop back in coverage, just survey, 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 taking Eric Lash out of the play as he keeps an eye on what Alan Suber is doing. And you know something, we talk about Bethune-Cookman's offense being out of sync. It should be noted that when they're in film preparation this week, they see Hampton in a 4-3 scheme doing things out of the 4-3 set. They haven't seen 3-4, so they're not able to prepare. They don't have a game plan at this point in the game ready for the 3-4 defense and that extra linebacker. Now, what would Alvin Wyatt's offensive brain trust do to counteract that? Oh, it's a chess match, and it's on right now.
3rd and 8 for Wyatt's Wildcats. They trailed 7-14. Face mask penalty against Hampton on that play. Suber going over the top looking for Lash, just overthrows him, and he had Diab beat.
Oh, he certainly did. They faked the dive that brought the linebackers and the safeties up. Lash was able to get downfield, and he had a step on Diab, and they just couldn't get it to him. And now that was a pass that looked like Suber might have been just a bit out of sync.
That'll bring on the kick, the punter, Zach Adrian. Zuriel Smith will have an opportunity once again to run back the punt. That one goes out of bounds. So the Pirates will bring their offense back out. And Alvin White is looking for answers right now. He seems a bit stunned because of some mental miscues and, as we mentioned, the defensive set that Hampton has deployed.
Well, that 3-4 has certainly caught Bethune Cookman off guard, and it'll be interesting to watch their offensive adjustments right now. And until they can adjust, the burden of proof is on the top-rated defense in the conference to get the momentum back on the side of the burgundy and gold.
1st and 10 from the 33. Frazier under pressure, throws it, gets it away, has Zuriel Smith, has a first down before he's brought down by Jameel Stewart.
Well, this is a nice flanker screen that's set up for Zuriel Smith, and this little bubble screen is a play that really concerned Alvin White coming in, and it's a great evidence of Joe Taylor taking advantage of Bethune's inability to cover space. One player, two defenders, the one player still picks up a first down.
So it's first down at the 44-yard line, and Robert Smith pays for the few yards he gets, courtesy Jimmy Williams.
Well, it's so key for Smith, who comes into this contest averaging about 4.7 yards per carry, to run that football effectively against Bethune Cookman, because if they're able to do that, that's going to open up the play action. This is an aggressive Bethune Cookman defense, excellent at pursuing.
Pick up a 5 on the play, and they will lose a few on that one.
And there you see evidence of that, them just jumping the offensive line. Defensive pressure up front. Isaiah Smith just beats the count, and he's back in there doing a beautiful job playing off of Jelani Clements' block to make that play. But again, Bethune-Cookman, they do such a great job at pursuing. They are susceptible, however, to the reverses, the misdirections, and things like that.
Loss of 1. Frazier gets it off to Smith. Another first down. How he got that ball off with Aaron Shepard all over him is a minor miracle.
Well, that's presence. See, he's doing a better job of feeling the pressure. He gets through one tackler that time and is able to loft a strike out there, and it's a first down. So, looks like Frazier feeling himself a lot better than he did last week, Dwayne. You know, comfort zone is definitely increasing.
That was Smith's second reception of the game. Frazier going to the air again, has Christopher Parker. Another first down for the Pirates.
You know something?
Rasheem Mathis and Christopher Parker say hello.
It'll be interesting to see what this call is going to be back at the 40-yard line. It was thrown right where Artavius Cash gave the block to spring Parker to the outside, and it's a hold.
Parker's nice run and catch will be nullified.
Let's take a look at it right here, Dwayne. I think it may be on Cash because it was thrown in his direction. Motion comes to the near side. That's Coleman, and it's just a quick little swing pass, 3-step drop. They get it out there, and see, there is Artavius Cash right there holding. I couldn't see the number of the player that he was holding, but he does get a piece of the turf. It might have been Jimmy Williams, the linebacker, that was held that time.
Cash in the slot. Frazier 3 for 8 so far in this game. 1st and 15. And the call goes to Hales, who picks up a first down into the secondary. Mathis stops.
Travis Hales takes advantage of Bethune-Cookman's wanting to get pressure on Frazier, who's having success throwing the football. So the perfect play call is the draw, right up in there. Good trap action. He has a nice hole. And if Compton is able to throw another block downfield, he may still be running. This is a good play call. The draw play.
19-yard pickup. Hales again gets the call. This time Mathis meets him a little closer to the line of scrimmage.
And now the Hampton offensive attack is having the same success running through the middle of the Bethune-Cookman defense, which is what the Wildcats did to score their only touchdown. And Mathis having to come up from his safety position to make a whole lot more tackles than I'm sure Alvin Wyatt would like.
Slight rain beginning to fall here at Municipal Stadium at Daytona Beach. Hales again gets the call, has another first down, and it's Mathis stopping him again. And check that. Alex Goings this time.
Well, this is set up because the safeties are going to read the motion of Cash, and they're going to follow him to the outside, and that's going to leave the middle a little soft. And were it not for Alex Goings, he may have still been running right now. So a first down. It's an impressive drive by Hampton. Their offensive front, which took a long time to get started last week, is rolling right now.
Robert Smith, some holes opening up for him. There is a marker down. Remember, folks, you are looking at the #1 defense in the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference in Bethune-Cookman. #1 in total defense, pass defense efficiency, and scoring defense.
But Bubba Hubbard is on the sidelines right now, and they're looking at his...
Another marker for holding against Hampton, brings it back.
Hubbard is not doing too well right now, receiving some attention, so the soft area is in the middle right now. There you take a look at him, and he is out of the lineup, and that has softened up the middle of the BCC defense right now, which is where Hampton is attacking.
First and long, Smith gets the call again and rips right through the middle of that defense, still on his feet. First down.
Wayne, that's a sprint draw. And what they do is they sprint the quarterback and they come right behind him with the running play, and it opens up in the center. And, you know, Hubbard's the middle linebacker, so he's the guy that filled those holes, and he's not able to make those play right there.
19-yard run by Smith. He gets the call again over the left side. He's corralled by Mathis. But the Pirates are really moving the Wildcats off the ball.
And it's the big fellas up front. You got to give credit where credit is due. The redshirt freshmen, Jelani Clement and James McCall, playing at right guard right now. They are out there just serving. Bethune Cookman up front. Amazingly, Bethune is going to take a timeout with 4 seconds to go in the quarter.
Well, they probably want to talk about what's going on. They are 8 yards away from giving up another touchdown and being down possibly 21-7 in the first quarter.
So I'm just amazed at the spirited effort that Hampton has come to Florida with today. And what's even more amazing is the, for lack of a better term, emotional baggage that is really thwarting and hurting the effort of Bethune-Cookman today. They're out of sync on offense. You can chalk that up to a change in defensive scheme. But defensively right now, even prior to the loss of Hubbard, they just aren't as active or as aggressive and are not having as much success as accustomed to stopping the run attack. And it should be noted that Maurice Hicks, whom they said was contained, rushed for 236 yards last week against this Wildcat defense.
Wildcats, as we just noted, in a very unaccustomed position, trailing in the first quarter. Let's check in with Ryan.
Got a quick injury update on a defensive tackle, Walter Downing of Hampton, that suffered a mild ankle sprain a couple of series ago. He's on the sideline getting some ice, getting that ankle iced down. They say he should return. Let's go back upstairs.
First and goal from the 8. Robert Smith falls down after receiving the handoff from Frazier. Smith and the Pirates are close again. Will they get 6 more? End of 1. Stay with us.
Out of the second quarter, Hampton leads Bethune-Cookman 14-7. It's been raining off and on here in Daytona Beach. Wildcats head coach Alvin Wyatt said he hopes the skies open up because his team likes to run the ball. Hampton coach Joe Taylor said, well, either way, we like to mix it up. It doesn't really matter. Let's go back upstairs to Dwayne and Mark.
Well, they've done a pretty good job of mixing it up, Ryan. Right now, Hampton 121 total offensive yards to Bethune-Cookman's 84, Coach Gray.
And they've been so effective running up into the teeth of the Bethune-Cookman defense, which is shocking. But again, last week, A&T was successful running the football behind a massive offensive line, and that's what Hampton has here as well.
On second down, Frazier to the air, has a receiver, Zoriel Smith, and it's a touchdown.
I'm marveling at just how efficient the play selection and the game plan is working for Hampton. You want to take advantage of Bethune-Cookman in space. A quick out to Zuriel Smith. He's one-on-one against the cornerback, and he takes it to the house.
Hampton's offense working almost picture perfect right now. Tellis Bolden, the extra point. Opening moments of the second quarter, and Hampton has taken a 21-7 lead over Bethune-Cookman. Zuriel Smith getting the job done. 1-7 lead here at Municipal Stadium at Daytona Beach. This is the way they did it. Coach Gray, what do you think?
I think the ball breaks the plane into the end zone before he goes out of bounds. The play stands.
Very diplomatic call. Norman Graham on the kickoff reception. Gets to about the 33-yard line.
Yeah, that was late. Terrible decision that time by Hampton, but let's take a look at Hampton's last drive, Dwayne. Tim Frazier getting outside the pocket, completing a pass to Zuriel Smith. He takes it out of bounds. He comes back. You know, sprint draw action going up the middle that time. That's Robert Smith carrying it down inside the 5-yard line. And then the quick out pattern. Once again, we got more Clement up the middle that time. And then the quick out right here. Nice pitch and catch to Smith. Forces his way into the end zone. Hampton's sitting pretty right now, up 14. But there was going to be like an unsportsmanlike call.
Well, Alvin Wyatt, the coach of Bethune-Cookman, clearly is upset. There is a marker down on the field, and he's having a very strong conversation with the officials.
Hampton, okay, better.
Offsetting penalties.
I think Coach Wyatt has a beef, and I'm going to have his back on this one. The Hampton player initiated the contact, and let's go downstairs to Ryan right now with a report from the field.
There was a late hit penalty on Hampton on that return there, but the flag ended up in the hand of a Bethune-Cookman player. He just was throwing it out of his hands, and I think that's where the other flag came from the official. Let's go back to you guys.
And that's what I think Coach Ryan. Now watch, at the end of this play coming up right here, you see the ball carrier is brought down. That will Norman Graham. And then at the very end, there's a last-second fisticuff. And I think Bethune-Cookman is burned after retaliating.
Well, the Wildcats have the ball first and 10 at the 33. Suber looking long. And he was hopeful of getting it to Tarian Hubbard.
Well, he went deep to Hubbard, who had to step on 3 defensive backs. But if he takes another second and he looks at number 85, Reed, who breaks across the center of the field underneath, he is wide open. So Suber looking much like Frazier did last week. A little bit too pumped here in the early stages of the contest, and maybe he's just a little bit pumped because of the success of his little brother last night playing down at Tampa Jesuit. They completed an undefeated regular season with a win 49-7, and Allen wanted to send out props to his little brother Alex and the family back in Tampa.
A lot of the shotgun on 2nd and 10 from the 33. Suber keeps it and is tracked down by Greg Scott.
Well, Mr. Scott probably got him low, but there were a number of people who got him up high, and I think namely number 56, Stanley Autry, couldn't resist the temptation of knocking the block off a helpless quarterback. He had a little bit of a hole there. See, it was Scott who got him by the legs to shut him down, and Autry finishes it. Man.
Pickup of 6 nonetheless on the play, setting up 3rd and 4 at the 40-yard line for Bethune-Cookman.
Well, we haven't called Taji Parrish's name a lot. I think Taji Parrish and Alan Suber got to find a relationship in this game soon.
Suber under pressure.
Let's run!
Has the first down and more. Still on his feet. An impressive display of running by the quarterback, Alan Suber.
Dwayne, you finally get a chance to see the best 1AA quarterback in America that nobody's talking about in the raw. Watch, breaking a tackle out of containment, and this is where he's so dangerous. once he makes the decision to run, this is 4.4 speed, incredible strength, and extremely bad tackling for the second week in a row by Hampton.
36-yard pickup on the play by Suber, who's ranked 3rd nationally in total offense.
The kid's incredible, man. He's got to make Mom April and Grandma Pat Moore feel real good down there watching in Tampa.
1st and 10 from the 24 of Hampton. Working his way for a couple is Eric Lash.
And he was trying to go right up behind the center Herndon that time. But Hampton's D front, their linebackers right now, in particular, you're looking at the play of Autry and Woodson right now, filling those holes. And that 4th linebacker is playing big dividends. Bethune not able to get outside right now, having to work a great deal between the tackles.
2nd and 8 from the 22. Suber rolling right under pressure. Well, he was escorted out of bounds, kind of, by Vernon Woodson. After a pickup of maybe one.
Yeah.
Love tap there at the end.
Yeah, because Woodson was not going to get a clean shot out on it. Now, Greg Scott forced that play with great pressure coming from the inside. And then watch the spy right here. This is Oliver getting pressure on the inside, and he just forces him outside. See, I think Suber might have wanted to turn it up inside, but Oliver was there, and that's the reason it was strung to the outside and only picked up 1 yard. Oliver misses the tackle, but he forces the play.
Suber has 57 yards on 7 carries so far. 3rd and 7, ball at the 20-yard line. He and the Wildcats trail 21-7, going to the air, and this one is low in the general area of Eric Reed.
Don't tell me they're going to call Greg Scott for a late hit.
Preliminary signal.
Referee Sam Jones signaling that may very well be the case.
Now, see, that's a bad call, then. It is. I mean, you know, it's not like he took 2 or 3 steps and teed off on Suber.
Well, the Wildcats certainly appreciate that because that occurred on 3rd down.
Boy.
So now you have 1st down.
I'm sure Coach Taylor is saying, you got to be kidding me, right?
Number 1 suspect.
Penalties all on Hampton at the moment. Ball at the 10. The pitch to Chaji Parrish.
See, that's what Bethune Cookman has to do, Dwayne. They have to get outside. Parrish trying to lobby for the touchdown, but I think he was out short.
Nice pickup by the versatile backup quarterback. He really wanted that one to be 6 points.
Well, fake the dive. They do a good job of forcing it to pitch the ball to Parrish, and a good job by Lewis to come up from his free safety position and force Parrish out of bounds. If he holds the ball out to get it over the line.
Like Zuriel Smith did.
Like Zuriel Smith did. It's a touchdown. And I think that's probably what Kirk Master Mateo is telling them right now.
Well, it's 1st and goal from the 1. Jovan Henry gets into the end zone.
Wow, this is just power football. Nothing fancy about this, going right up the gut behind Herndon. He breaks 1 tackle, and boy, that was a struggle. He had to go through the arms of Sam Murphy at 310 pounds, and he was able to do that. What an offensive display we've seen to this point, Dwayne.
Lots of fireworks.
Very entertaining first half.
Danny Mathis, once again, he nails an extra point. So Bethune Cookman climbs right back into it. Joe Taylor and his Pirates will try to answer when we come back. 21, Wildcats, Hampton leads at 21-14 here at Municipal Stadium, Daytona Beach, Florida. Here's how the Wildcats just scored.
Well, Alan Suber put the burden of proof on himself, and he made some things happen here. behind the center. He looks like he's left for dead. He's able to get outside the pocket, pick up 36 yards, and keep the drive alive. Look at him, just running through tackles. Then he gets the pitch outside to Taji Parrish. Parrish comes ever so close to getting to the end zone before being knocked out of bounds by Coleman. And then Javon Henry forces his way into the end zone. And now the Wildcats are within 7.
National Car Rental scoring drive. The kickoff. Not exactly what one is used to seeing. Michael Kidd is looking around.
Did I call it?
Well, when your season is on the line, things have tendency to get a little chippy. And the onside kick, and it's recovered by Bethune Cookman. Or is it? Yes, it is.
So Bethune Cookman pulls a surprise onside kick.
Hampton's been victimized the last 2 weeks by special teams clutch plays that were executed against them. Remember last week's contest, you had the fake punt, which with the direct snap that went to Kelsey Lordius, led to be a big first down in the second half. And now this one gives the offense the ball right back. And it's a little bit muggy today. Hampton had to travel. You know, these are the kind of drives that start wearing the defense out, especially the linemen, late in the fourth quarter.
They take over at the 48-yard line of Hampton. 1st and 10, there is a flag down.
Wow. Boy, it's like the Hampton deep front did a better job, and Greg Scott is having a tremendous first half. He beat the snap count. I'm just wondering, was he onside?
Wait the call from referee Sam Jones. So far, Hampton has just been on the short end of almost every penalty.
But the way Hampton is behaving, I think it's against Bethune-Cookman.
Now that's a large penalty. 15 yards.
Let's take a look at it. Let's take a look at Darren Herndon, the center, and let's see him get off the ball. There's a chop block right there. Boy, that was dangerous.
Samuel Murphy, he hit.
Man, Napoleon Joseph with the chop block that time. Boy, you talk about almost ending a season.
So that sets up 1st and 16 for Bethune-Cookman at its own 37-yard line.
Well, I still think they've got to find a way to get more touches for Parrish right now.
Suber, Hilton is coming, and he gets him.
Suber, it looks like a screen that should have been set up with the back trying to fill an area, but he never got there. See, I got to believe that that's designed to allow the pressure to get back in there on him. Then he dumped a screen pass off, but nobody was out there in the flat. See, Hampton's linebackers do a good job of staying at home, taking away the underneath stuff, and with all that pressure, he's not able to get the ball downfield, and it's a rare thing where Hampton gets a quarterback behind the line of scrimmage this year.
11 sacks, 9th in the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference.
And therein lies one of the big stories why Hampton is not near the upper echelon of the conference like they used to be because of the futile number of sacks.
So it's 2nd and 42. Suber trying to elude more pressure and throws it away. Bearing down on him with Ira David Dawson, Greg Scott.
And Dawson was the one who was switched out of the lineup from his end position. You know, he's coming in only on passing situations in this contest. And Suber in the air, I think they're going to call intentional grounding. Could that be? Well, there's a flag down here. Suber just got outside the pocket and threw the ball away.
Suber was pleading his case with the officials. So there's no penalty on the play.
Well, the reason there's no penalty on it, he's outside the pocket. And once you get outside the pocket, you can just get rid of it. If he'd stayed in the pocket, if I'm not mistaken, that's how the call works, then it's intentional grounding.
Not exactly the most productive of days so far for Suber. 8 rushes for 31 yards, 1 pass completion, 4 pass completions, 13 yards. On 3rd and long, he had time to throw it. Things are breaking down.
Well, he had nobody open. And you can have all day, but when the receivers in the pattern are blanketed beautifully like they were that time in coverage, you're going to have to eat it.
So we'll see Zach Adrian again. Zuriel Smith back at his own 45-yard line.
So Bethune-Cookman off a drive that goes backward.
Nearly blocked by Willie Bennett. What a punt, though. Adrian gets off. Great coverage by the Wildcats.
That was terrific. Big time tackle coming up here by Bethune. Micah Simmons.
Hubbard back in the game for the Bethune-Cookman Wildcats. They trail 21-14 to the Hampton Pirates. Our Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference game of the week. 1st and 10 from the 43. It's Robert Smith getting wrapped up. Taking a look around the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference today, courtesy Coca-Cola, South Carolina State at Howard, Norfolk State at Morgan State, Delaware State at Savannah State. Florida A&M at Southern, North Carolina A&T at Jackson State later on this afternoon.
So today's the day where the MEAC tries to smack the SWAC.
There are markers down once again as Robert Smith attempts to gain plus yardage.
2 interesting contests, too. I'm anxious to see big physical team like Southern against a finesse-oriented unit like Florida A&M. And, of course, A&T and Jackson State, classic run versus pass team when you got a great running back in Hicks.
Line up in neutral zone. 5-yard
And, of course, Jackson has great, talented skill players, big receivers. It's a very interesting contest in Atlanta.
Tim Frazier much more settled than he was a week ago when we saw him against Florida A&M, having a pretty solid afternoon so far. He and the Pirates have 2nd and 6 to go at the 47-yard line of Bethune-Cookman, and they lead it 21-14. Frazier to the air. Zuriel Smith, 6 points.
Great play call by Hampton. They've had so much success running up the middle. The play action allows Smith on the post to break almost unabated into the center of the field. And this is a beautiful pass by Tim Frazier, hitting his receiver in stride as he takes it to the house. Oh, that's just beautiful. Great offensive line play up front to give him opportunity to survey and let his receiver come clean across the middle of the field, and a touchdown.
48-yard reception and score on the play. Tellis Bolden as the extra point, and Hampton gets that 7 points back. 28-14. Pirates lead Bethune-Cookman. Timothy Frazier really looking solid. This does not look like the same young man we saw here last week.
Well, I think last week it was a home game. He had gotten his first college start. He was a little bit too pumped up. It was a big game. He put a lot more pressure on himself. Here he looks a lot more relaxed. He looks like he has command of the offense. And then when the big fellas up front, the big nasties on the O-line are giving you that kind of time, it's going to bring smiles to the face of you, Zuriel Smith. Let's take a look at Bubba Hubbard. Totally confused here. Play action, fake. He's out of position there. Half a step late. Didn't know what was going to happen. He turns around and is like, oh no, he scored. Come on. I can't believe that.
The Hampton Pirates offensive unit has been a model of efficiency so far in this game. And remember, folks, Bethune-Cookman has the #1 ranked defense in this conference.
Great to have Johnny Ties back in the house running things from the bridge of the Starship Enterprise.
On the kickoff, the ball is fielded by Elliott Coney at the 33-yard line, which is where Bethune-Cookman will take over. National Car Rental scoring drive, 3 plays, 57 yards, 52 seconds. Zuriel Smith at 48-yard catch. Perfect throw, by the way, by Frazier, as you mentioned.
Well, now comes, like Alan Suber was telling me yesterday, most important for Bethune-Cookman to establish Marcus Goggins or Taji Parrish. They've got to find a way to get either of those two players off. Goggins was effective on the first drive. He's been taken away. Now Parrish has to make something happen.
On 1st and 10 from the 34, Suber calls his own number, Isaac Hilton. Runs him down.
The linebackers are just staying at home. Joe Taylor has sold his linebacking core on staying at home. Don't get nosy. Don't go looking for something when it's not there. If you stay at home, the ball will come to you. And Suber is going into the waiting hands of the Woodsons and the Autreys. Vincent Lewis. I mean, the linebacker, this 3-4 has really rattled Bethune-Cookman's offense.
Pickup of 4 on the play. 2nd and 6 from the 37. Tremaine Hughes has a beat on him and finally gets to him. He had help from Vernon Woodson, but Hughes the entire time was tracking him.
Well, you got to keep Alan Suber in the pocket. And the blitz, well, the pressure comes from the outside. You see Scott stays at home. He doesn't over-pursue, and that forces Suber to have to run back up inside into the meat of the Pirate defense, and they shut him down.
Total yards, Hampton 177 in the game so far, Bethune-Cookman 123. On 3rd and 4 from his own 39, Suber out of the shotgun. Under pressure from Hilton. Got it to Taji Parrish.
Where's the flag?
But it looked like Darial Diab had an arm on him before the ball ever got to him.
It looked like, I mean, that's the closest thing that you see to a rodeo lasso in the defensive backfield. I mean, Diab was beaten as soon as he comes out of his break to the inside, and all he can do is just grab his jersey. Oh, my goodness. Nobody saw that?
Apparently not the appropriate.
Oh, my goodness. Boy, I'm telling you, the breaks are certainly going in the direction of the Pirates right now. All the bounces, the miscues, and in this particular instance, the call or lack thereof. Hampton really dodges a bullet there.
Well, that sets up 4th down. Zach Adrian. Danny Mathis comes on. Danny will punt away. Usually the field goal kicker. It's a trick play, and it's an interception by Travis Oliver.
He could take it all away.
He is run down by Kenny Heatley, but the trick play did not work. Travis Oliver, Johnny on the spot for Hampton.
Boy, now we know why Danny Mathis is a kicker, because he's not supposed to be throwing passes like that. I mean, this is a dying quail. I mean, you or I could go out there right now and intercept this pass. I mean, it's a good idea. Looked like he had his receiver, might have had a step on him. But then Coleman just makes a great individual play. And were it not for Kenny Heatley, he scores. And boy, this is danger time here for the Wildcats.
Well, it gives the Hampton Pirates 1st and goal at the 8-yard line. And Bethune-Cookman wants to talk about this. The Wildcats gamble, and it does not pay off. Joe Taylor's Pirates are knocking on the door again.
We're all...
Hampton leads Bethune-Cookman 28-14. Zach Adrian usually is the punter for Bethune-Cookman. He was not out on that play. It was Danny Mathis, the kicker. And that led to an interception after the play. Timothy Frazier and the Pirates 1st and goal at the 8-yard line. They lead 28-14, and it's Carlton Morant getting closer to the end zone.
Boy, they're having a whole lot of success with that sprint draw. Watch this handoff right here, and it's going to just basically take the ball carrier Wow. That's quality stuff right there. Fake it, a little wraparound handoff there. Sprint draw, wraparound handoff. You got to be a magician to be quarterback at Hampton, huh?
On second down, it's Travis Hales for a pickup of 1.
Well, now it's time for the #1 rated defense in the conference to step up if Bethune-Cookman is going to stay in this contest. They got to make a play. Got to keep Hampton out of the end zone. And Hampton is playing far more aggressive than Bethune-Cookman right now. Whether it's confusion or confidence or what have you, they are playing with a lot more, for lack of a better term, Dwayne, vim and vigor. I mean, enthusiasm, life. And Bethune-Cookman is just sort of in a malaise.
Ryan Baker, Mark Gray, Dwayne Ballin from Daytona Beach, Florida, Municipal Stadium. Our Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference Game of the Week. Alvin White's Bethune Cookman Wildcats trailed 28-14 to Hampton. They really started the game off on the wrong foot. Botched fumble by Rasheed Mathis, their All-America. It led to a touchdown. And they've been digging themselves out of a hole ever since.
It seemed like that play after the defense had come out and sent Hampton 3 and out, it seemed like that one opened the door, and it's been downhill ever since.
And you begin to wonder, when Alvin White was talking so much to us before the game about getting his players' heads out of last week's loss to A&T, was he successful completely in doing that?
Maybe not. You never really know until Saturday, do you? Talked about 2 outstanding practices that he had to lead into this game.
Third down, Timothy Frazier rolling to his right. And he runs right into Rasheed Mathis.
Mathis is an All-American, and he's just not going to buy it. He says that, a lot of people used to say this guy or that guy is going to take your position. And he looks up to Ronnie Lott. He says that's the only guy at the safety position that could ever take his spot. And making plays like that, you're absolutely right. Does a good job of stringing that play and just staying at home. You talk about following your assignment. He just stayed with the ball and made the play.
So that brings up fourth down. Tellis Bolden on to attempt a field goal. It is good. 17 yards away. Bolden and the Pirates, everything has gone well for them so far. They have played a nearly superb game on offense. The efficiency and the way they've mixed everything up, Mark Ray, has just been admirable.
Well, it's amazing to look at just this Hampton offense shatter the defensive statistics of Bethune-Cookman. The Wildcats come in third ranked in scoring offense, giving only 30 points a game up. They've already given up 31. It's amazing. The efficiency, the pass efficiency statistic, they're #1 in the conference. Tim Frazier's having nearly a flawless first half. I mean, you're looking at a team right now offensively that's clicking on all cylinders. And if you're the Hampton faithful, you got to be wondering, where was this last week at home?
We had brought that game to you last week from Hampton against Florida A&M. Norman Graham, nice return, 41-yard line. There have been some real problems on special teams in this game for the men in maroon and gold.
Well, it started with Rasheed Mathis, the normally sure-handed one of the more dangerous kick return men in the conference, fumbling into his end zone, and it's recovered by Hampton, and that's how they got their first score this afternoon. They try a fake punt. Travis Coleman picks it off. He takes it up into the teeth of the defense and almost scores a touchdown. That led to Bolden's field goal. So the special teams have been very charitable this afternoon for Bethune-Cookman.
First and 10 from the 40. Taji Parrish breaks off a first down run and is ridden out of bounds by Greg Scott, who seems to be all over the place.
This time, they're able to get the good block down on the inside, a seal by Herndon, and he also gets a terrific block that springs him into the secondary by Javon Henry, and he picks up the first down.
Alvin Wyatt says number 10 is so valuable. He told us about him and just said, we have to have him involved on every play. 1st and 10. Ball now on the 40-yard line. Wildcats on the move, trailing 31-14. Parrish again changes direction and is gang tackled. Travis Oliver, one of those. Alvin Wyatt says Taji Parrish is so key. He can place him in so many different positions on the field, and good things happen.
And he can do so many different things with him.
He brings a lot to the table. We can put him at the running back position, put him at the wide receiver position, our slot guy, and he can go at the quarterback position. So he poses a lot of problems from people. He has a threat of throwing the ball off the sweeps as well as on end reverses. He's just been a phenomenal athlete for us, and he's a guy that we're looking forward to make big things happen for.
Parrish picked up 2 on that play, 2nd and 8 from the 38-yard line. He has 3 rushes for 31 yards. Suber to the air, and he cannot quite connect. His pass just a little off.
Suber looks like a quarterback right now that's going up under center and seeing things that he hasn't seen in his prep work this week, and he's having difficulty making decisions. I mean, that's just a play where Coleman just comes up as that spy and forces him to release a pass high and before he wanted to, and he's still at the 1 completion in the afternoon.
If I told you one of the quarterbacks in this game would have those numbers at this juncture, would you have believed it was Suber?
I wouldn't have believed it would have been either one of them because both of them are that adept at passing.
3rd and 8 from the 38-yard line. Bethune Cookman in Hampton territory, trailing, looking for more, and nearly caught by Eric Reed, but defensively, the Hampton Pirates were all over him.
Boy, he had good protection, and this is a nice little sidearm strike.
Ryan Baker, Mark Gray, Dwayne Ballin from Municipal Stadium, Daytona Beach, Florida. Our Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference Game of the Week. Bethune Cookman in Hampton, 31-14. The Wildcats are trailing at home on Senior Day.
And there's confusion on Hampton special teams. They're probably going to have to burn a timeout.
Confusion has been a problem today, more for Bethune Cookman.
Certainly on the special teams.
Wildcats coming in, still feeling they had very much an opportunity to move right back into position to win the MEAC championship. Have another entire half to go. They certainly can get it together, but Alvin Wyatt's team simply does not look like everyone's on the same page at the moment.
And they also look a little flat. They don't look like they're playing with as much intensity as we've seen Alvin Wyatt's teams in the past. And Hampton, to their credit, has been almost flawless.
Well, Danny Mathis, the kicker, is in to punt again.
Another pass.
A bad snap. He gets it away. And it will head out of bounds. So Hampton will take over at the 20-yard line.
It's that kind of day. I mean, they had good coverage down there on the spot, and it looked like Johnny Vickers was in a position to down the ball. The ball kicks away from him and into the end zone.
It's been that kind of day so far for Bethune Cookman. Other side of the ball, Tim Frazier just having a very impressive afternoon for the sophomore, coming off of a really rough outing against Florida A&M. Joe Taylor said, look, he's my guy. I know he can get the job done. He's a bright kid. He just needs a little more time, a little more confidence, and he gave him that. On 1st down, it's Robert Smith, who is wrapped up by about 5 Wildcats.
Well, Bethune Cookman has to rely on quickness to counteract the girth and mass of this big offensive front. And that time, they were quicker off the ball to close the hole and stop that play. And there's Steve Baggs in there on the stop.
Baggs, a 6'2", 220-pound sophomore from nearby Orlando. No gain on the play. 2nd down and 10. Smith in motion. Frazier, quick out to Zuriel Smith. Breaks away from a couple of defenders, cuts back against the grain. Once again, you see, although it wasn't a big play, you see what he's capable of doing.
Well, again, it goes back to Coach Taylor's point. Bethune's having problem playing in space. This is just a pass where you had a one receiver who comes quickly off the line, squares it in, and just takes it up inside 3 players and almost picks up the first down.
3rd and 3 from the 28-yard line. Robert Smith has the first down across the 35-yard line. Number 8, Zuriel Smith, you saw him on the previous play. Joe Taylor says he feels so fortunate to have a man with those abilities on his team.
Well, true competitor, great speed, 4'3". He's our wide receiver. He's a guy that we got to put the ball in his hand as often as we can because of his speed, his athleticism, his competitiveness. He's a guy that you just got to put the ball in his hand more, and you'll see us doing that.
Zuriel Smith already has 5 receptions, 83 yards, and a couple of touchdowns.
And it helps when you're getting when your running game is working as effectively as it is. He was able to get deep thanks to a beautiful play-action fake, and he's taking advantage of a solid running effort.
2nd and 10. Excellent defensive pursuit on that play by Josh Oglesby, leading the way for the Wildcats. This defense must feel a little bruised right now.
Oh, and confused. But they got to shake it off. There's still a half to play. I mean, you hold here and give your team a chance to get the ball back, and they score. It's only a 10-point game coming out of the intermission.
Pickup of 1 on the play. Frazier looking to pass. Smith reaches back and makes a nice reception.
He bailed Tim Frazier out. This is a great twisting catch. A pass that's clearly behind Zuriel Smith. It was just that little short slant pad. If he's able to hit it out in front of him, he might have been able to pick up the first down. Timing pattern. There's the emphasis of that West Coast Bill Walsh thing on Joe Taylor after they spent so much time together during the early 90s.
Tellis Bolden back for his 4th punt. Rasheed Mathis will field this one and tries to return it, but nothing doing. Excellent coverage by the Pirates. Brian Sawyer.
Sawyer was the one who recovered the fumble in the first half. But Sawyer and Parker, boy, they're like terrific special teams performers, reminiscent of like the Steve Tasker types in the NFL. I mean, they just make things happen on the special teams. You almost have to create an all-conference position for players who are that good in that aspect of the game.
Sawyer, a 6'1" junior from Hampton, Virginia. So Bethune-Cookman comes out trailing 31-14, 1st and 10 at the 24-yard line, and Suber needs to get something going. Finds Goggins out of the backfield. Travis Oliver stops him just over the 31-yard line.
That 4th linebacker, that hybrid safety linebacker type, doing a good job of just keeping everything inside. Bethune-Cookman has great speed. They're not able to turn the corner, make things happen on the edges.
This game still has implications regarding the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference race. Both squads feel they're still in it despite disappointing losses a week ago. On 2nd, Suber overthrows the receiver.
Well, I think Suber threw that pass inside trying to hit Brown, and well, he threw it outside figuring Brown was going to go outside, and he didn't.
That leads to 3rd down and 3 at the 31-yard line. Alvin Wyatt personifies the frustration of his Bethune-Cookman Wildcats at the moment. They trail 31-14 here at home. Out of the shotgun. Suber nearly intercepted. It was actually in the hands of Vernon Woodson. And he probably was surprised it was there.
Well, when you're playing discipline, and that's what the linebackers are doing right now. They're just sitting at home and they're reading. And he was just kind of playing a bit of center field from the linebacker position. And he breaks on the football. And I'm sure he's shocked that he beat the ball to the spot. Suber, nice protection. And just he's just off.
Well, that brings on Danny Mathis to punt away again. A tough snap for him to handle. Zuriel Smith just up to midfield and almost hanging on for dear life.
Hampton playing with a swagger. And Bethune Cookman looks, I don't know, I don't want to say intimidated, but they're just not as fierce as I'm normally accustomed to seeing them. They don't have an edge about them right now.
Well, the Pirates certainly do. Joe Taylor's unit has come out and responded in a big way, led by the sophomore. Alvin Wyatt looking around, very unhappy.
Suffice to say, there may be a 3-bleep or 4-bleep speech at the half for his team.
Should be an interesting halftime chat. 53 seconds to go in the half. On first down, Travis Hales was pretty much leveled.
And that's the first time this afternoon we've called the name of Terrell Robinson, a guy who's benefiting from playing in the safety position with Rasheed Mathis. Just reads and does a good job of playing off of Michael Compton's block to stop that play. Compton struggling downfield blocking today.
Travis Hales finds running room near a first down.
Looked like Johnny Vickers in there on the stop. Check that Jimmy Williams. Boy, there's a big-time stick by Williams coming up here. Little sprint draw track action right up between Clement and Steiner. And then watch that shot coming in there by Williams. Whew. Talk about bringing the funk.
Wildcats take a timeout. Want to discuss some more things. Well, Alvin Wyatt is clearly unhappy with his team right now.
Well, he's the defensive coordinator. And when you come into the contest giving up 30 points a game and you've given up 31 in the first half, I'm sure you are extremely exercised with your unit right now. But bottom line is they just got to clamp down. They're still in this game. Even at 31-14 with a half to go, you got to clamp down and get it done on defense.
Looking at the road ahead for Bethune-Cookman. Visit Washington, D.C. to take on Howard, and then close out with Florida A&M in Orlando.
And we certainly are circling that date, the 17th, for the Florida Classic.
Ryan Baker, Mark Gray, Dwayne Ballin with you. The Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference Game of the Week, Daytona Beach's Municipal Stadium. Alvin Wyatt's Bethune-Cookman Wildcats trail 31-14. And they are trying to stop what's been a very potent Hampton offense. Frazier to the air again. This time he overthrows Michael Compton. Frazier looks as though he has some newfound confidence.
Well, he does, and I think he's a lot more comfortable with the insertion of the offensive front. I mean, you look at the job that James McCall is doing, protecting him, and Kevin Johnson in particular, who's replacing Pat Cheatham with that high ankle sprain. They're doing a good job of giving their quarterback a comfort zone to sit confidently in the pocket and deliver some strikes.
Fourth down. Hales drops it, picks it back up. That's the kind of half it has been for Hampton. He still moves forward.
Hales with the carry. First down, Hampton.
A little bit of the Keystone Cops version of the HU offense, but things have been rolling this afternoon for Hampton, and they'll roll into the first halftime up 31-14, and I am shocked by the turn of events here this afternoon.
Well, Joe Taylor and his Pirates come out and set a nice tone at the beginning of the game, capitalizing on a mistake on special teams. Timothy Frazier, excellent job moving the offense. Very well-balanced offense, running and passing, and the Pirates are up 31-14 at the half over a stunned group of Bethune-Cookman Wildcats. Halftime activities when we come back. First half by Hampton has the Pirates leading Bethune-Cookman 31-14 in our Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference Game of the Week from Daytona Beach, Florida.
concert band formation. And never the baton of Bobby Eastmark. We feature the music which has massively...
The Hampton Full Force Marching Band in our Wittenauer Band Showcase. Hampton leads it at the half.
Show them how we do up at HRU.
Here at Daytona Beach, Hampton leads Bethune-Cookman 31-14 in our Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference game at the half. Bank of America is a proud sponsor of the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference Game of the Week. This week, Bank of America would like to honor a representative of the high-quality and student athletes from Delaware State. Monique Washington, a member of the Lady Hornets volleyball team, has a 3.7 GPA while majoring in Spanish education. She also is a member of the DSU Student Athlete Advisory Committee. In recognition of her contributions to the quality of life at the university and fulfillment of the goals of a true student athlete, Bank of America is proud to contribute $1,000 in her name to the General Scholarship Fund of Delaware State University. Monique Washington. Hampton leads Bethune-Cookman 31-14 at the half. Hampton leads Bethune-Cookman 31-14 at the half. Now the Bethune-Cookman Wildcats in our Wittenauer Band Showcase.
Her name is India. She's captain of the 14 karat gold dash. We call her Soul Sister #1. Watch her struggle. Let me take you back into time, when the soul of the world's most famous beat was AM 830 WBCC. The DJ with Dr. Zelli, Horatio and Stereo, and you. And we played the OJ, Climbing the Stairway to Heaven. world's most famous people. The OJ, Vladimir the Stairway. They call themselves the epitome of band, the Force. We don't have a picture, so believe me, it's about to get ugly.
The marching Bethune Cookman Wildcats in our band showcase here at the half. It's 31-14. Bethune Cookman leads Hampton University. Mark Gray and Dwayne Ballin along with Ryan Baker. Listen, Mark, that first half was so complete by Hampton.
Well, it was a situation where it looked like Hampton was a team that came down here with a greater focus, a greater sense of fear, and Bethune Cookman was flat. And as we go to our USPS halftime highlights, we'll take a look at just how flat Bethune Cookman was. This is the normally sure-handed Rasheem Matthews muffing a punt that's picked up in the end zone. It's recovered by Brian Sawyer, and Hampton was in good shape, 13-36 into the first quarter. But then Marcus Goggins on the next drive, he had 50 yards on this drive, and he carries the ball deep into Hampton territory, setting up the 10-yard touchdown run, which closed the gap. And at that point, we were tied. But Hampton's offensive line has been doing a great job opening holes for people like Carlton Morant, who takes it into the end zone for the score there. Bethune Cookman struggling to hold on to the football. The fumble by Goggins is recovered by Hampton. That sets up a short touchdown situation. This is Tim Frazier going to Zuriel Smith as they continue to move the chains. And then he goes outside to Smith here, taking a hit, and then is able to get the ball over the pylon for the score. Alan Suber gives the ball off to Javon Henry. He struggles in for the score, and then a little bit of play action fake there. Post pattern by Zuriel Smith. He breaks into the secondary and easily takes it into the end zone for the score. And then this is the fake punt that goes awry. That's Travis Coleman with the interception, and he carries it down into position for Hampton to once again get another 3 points. So it's a situation where Bethune Cookman has been frankly benevolent, and Hampton has been able to take advantage of their charity.
Well, for Joe Taylor, everything's working out well. Alvin White is the man that has work to do in the second half. His Wildcats have been befuddled in the first half. More from Municipal.
31-14 here as we begin to start the third quarter. Coach White, you're here with me. You said you had some work to do at halftime. Much more to do in the second half, down 31-14.
Well, it's all mental right now. You know, like I said earlier, our kids, for some reason, they still had the last football game in the back of their minds, and they came out not ready, not prepared mentally to get these guys where we need to be in order to have the lead. So we got our work cut out for that. I think the focus is back. Hopefully it is, and we can do something different this second half.
All right, thanks a lot, Coach. Good luck in the second half. Let's go back upstairs to Dwayne and Mark.
Thank you, Ryan. And Tellis Bolden kicks off to begin the second half towards Graham and Henry. And Alvin Wyatt, Coach Gray, has quite a bit to figure out, both offensively and defensively, with the problems presented by Hampton in the first half.
Well, first off, he's got to figure out a way to make his offense work against the 3-4 defense when he was expecting to see it work against a 4-3. I think that basically is what got inside the head of Alan Suber, which caused his struggles in the first half. It'll be interesting to see how he responds. If he responds well, so too will the offense, and I think that will have a trickle-down effect on the team.
Alvin Wyatt's Wildcats will begin at the 35-yard line. First and 10. They trail 31-14. They need this one as much as Hampton does. Taji Parrish takes the pitch, and it's interesting. Parrish was one of the first names we called to begin the second half. Wasn't the case at the beginning of the game.
You're absolutely right. He sort of, it was like they focused so much on getting Marcus Goggins off that they forgot about Taji Parrish. If they're going to make a comeback, Parrish is going to have a lot of touches and make big plays when he touches the football.
Parrish, a 5'10", 180-pound senior from Plantation, Florida. Pickup of 6 on the play. Ball at the 41. Suber looking to throw. Going long. Has a man open. Tarian Hubbard First down for Bethune-Cookman. They're knocking at the door.
That's not going to be a completed pass. I think they're going to say it hit the turf, and yep, it sure did. Boy, it just came out as he was on his way down, it would appear. A post pattern. Oh, man, they faked the dive. They got the coverage that they wanted. He had 3 steps behind his defensive backs, and they're not able to complete it to Hubbard. Hubbard was so effective in Philadelphia against Delaware State when we had him earlier in the season.
Great effort by Hubbard, nonetheless, on that play. So instead of a first down deep inside of Hampton territory, it is now 3rd and 4 at the 41.
Hubbard, if he had to do it all over again, would run through that football, Dwayne. Kind of eased up a little bit, then had to extend himself at the last minute.
Alan Suber out of the shotgun. Back to Hubbard again. Has a first down. So the drive remains alive for Bethune-Cookman to begin the second half.
I think it's very healthy to loosen the reins of the offense by Bethune-Cookman. Take some chances deep downfield. Hampton was burned a couple of times on deep routes last week by Florida A&M. You know, I think that they have an advantage, Bethune-Cookman does. Their skill players, their receivers against the Hampton defensive backs. They have a size advantage. They have a speed advantage. Got to get them in some one-on-one situations and let them make some plays.
First down. Suber to Hubbard again. Travis Coleman on the stop.
Good short tackle that time. It was a quick out.
Hey, that's all fair.
Right to Hubbard. And the mano-a-mano situation there. 3-step drop. Quick swing out there to him. And Coleman comes up. Locks, loaded, and wraps. Good tackle by Coleman. And arm tackling in general has been difficult for the DBs of the Pirates over the last couple of weeks.
Now it's 2nd and 6. Suber pitching to Parrish again. Parrish has a reverse field, spin around. He turns what should have been a loss into plus yardage.
Wow, watch the spy. He's just going to come up here. He's just going to string it out. This is Coleman. Just going to continue to stay at home and watch Parrish. He just spins away from him and makes a 1-on-4 play to pick up significant yardage. I mean, the spy does a good job, Coleman does, stringing that, check that, Travis Oliver does, stringing that play to the outside, but Parrish just makes a great play to pick up positive yards.
It's 3rd and 3. Ball now at the 46-yard line of Hampton. Suber out of the shotgun. Hubbard again. And right there is Travis Coleman defensively.
Alvin Wyatt's team offensively is taking a page out of Hampton's playbook from the first half. They're forcing the Pirate defense to play in space. And they're letting their big receivers like Hubbard and Taji Parrish get out there in one-on-one situations. And normally, those are advantages that they can win.
The Hubbard reception led to a first down. Wildcats now at Hampton's 39-yard line. Ryan Baker, Mark Gray, Dwayne Ballin with you. The Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference Game of the Week from Daytona, Florida. Whistles on the play.
Boy, that hole had opened up. It was the same play that Goggins had broke for about 50 yards earlier.
Just as you think they have a drive going and they're in sync, a mental mistake.
It's that kind of day. It has been that kind of afternoon. You know, they talked last week about how everything that could go wrong did. Same thing's happening today.
Very un-Suber-like numbers so far today. So it's 1st and 10 at the 39-yard line. Javon Henry, pickup of about 4. Among those there was Isaac Hilton.
Well, I'll tell you, this redshirt junior, Napoleon Joseph, in tandem with Darren Herndon, just having a solid day. They're opening up big holes off tackle for Henry and Goggins to run through in many instances. They're having a good, solid day against a big 3-4 unit. And it's amazing to watch because they were expecting to see a 4-3 set.
2nd down, Taji Parrish in motion in that slot. Suber pitches to Henry. Gets around the corner past Tremaine Hughes. Has a first down. And it's big Greg Scott knocking him out of bounds.
Scott knocking him off his pins deep downfield, but Stanley Autry gets burned being a little nosy. See, that's great blocking up front to open that hole, but Stanley Autry, number 56, see, gets a little nosy. And he doesn't follow his assignment. He doesn't stay at home. And that allows Henry to get outside and carry that ball down deeper into Hampton territory for another first down.
Henry 3 carries for 22 yards so far in the game. 1st and 10 from the 23-yard line of Hampton. Bethune Cookman on the move. Goggins up the middle, has room into the secondary. It takes 4 Hampton Pirates to bring him down.
They played a high school football game here last night, and it's real soft in the center of the field, and Bethune Cookman and all the backs are having difficulty cut. See, once he breaks the containment in the center of the field, if he's able to plant and cut, see right there, he loses his footing, and that probably cost him another 6 or 7 yards. So again, Joseph, Herndon, and Sapp doing a good job at the point of attack to open the hole for Henry.
Goggins 8 carries for 61 yards for the junior from Lake City, Florida. On first down, well, Goggins tried to stretch that one into the end zone, but he was already down.
Let's check out this offensive line. This is great play up front. Watch the big fella. See, good seal to the end zone by Herndon, and he just follows that open area. See, once Herndon seals Perry to the inside, the hole is there for Goggins to just shoot up in there. He's been able to take advantage of it this afternoon. And Alan Super said they wanted to get him off. It would open up the offense.
2nd and goal for the Wildcats. And this time Goggins gets into the end zone.
Now that was an impressive drive.
His 3rd touchdown of the game, of the season.
Marcus Goggins, once again, this is off tackle. They're going between Herndon and Sapp, and they just open that hole. Watch. Herndon is 59, 79 is 75, Tyrone Sapp, sealing everybody to the inside. And the back is just going to struggle his way on in to the end zone for the score. And we got ourselves a ball game here, folks, in Daytona Beach.
Mr. Automatic, Danny Mathis converts the extra point. So the Wildcats march 65 yards in 11 plays, and Marcus Goggins caps it off. They're within 10. The Bethune Cookman Wildcats get back into it, trailing by 10, 31-21. Mark Gray, that last drive, you saw something that you think you saw last week.
Well, the dilemma that Hampton faced last week was trying to shut down the run. It was March Banks and Kelsey Lordius, and today it looks like it's going to be Marcus Goggins. He takes the pitch from Suber. They move the ball deep downfield. Then they go up the gut against the teeth of the Hampton defense, and then the touchdown right through the teeth, the meat of the defensive front. Hampton gave up 279 yards and 27 points last week. They can't do that today.
Well, Terrence Patrick springs up to the 45-yard line on the kickoff return. There is a flag on the play. It may very well have been a face mask.
It's going to be interesting to watch this call, because a great return by Patrick gives the Pirates excellent field position.
Personal foul.
Check this out. I see the personal foul call. Yep. And he let it go, and he ripped him pretty good.
So at the 41-yard line, Robert Smith tries to get something going, but he had one problem, William Hudson.
Exactly, and that time Hudson doesn't buy the sprint draw action. It was designed to be a sprint draw, which they were so effective, and they were going to follow right behind Clement McCall. But you're going to see Hudson play off his block, get in there, and seal his fate.
Hudson, 6'6", 230 pounds. There's a flag on the field.
13. No vehicle children is enforced at the time.
A sideline warning.
Referee Sam Jones issuing that. Timothy Frazier has had an exemplary afternoon to date. 2nd and 14. Frazier rolling out and into trouble. Gets back to the line of scrimmage. Oglesby leading the charge to stop him.
That time it looked like Hampton was trying to run a flood play where you have your flanker, your split end, and your tight end all run patterns to the same side of the field, but you can see on the turf that's Blunt, the tight end, that's taken out of the play. And I think at that point, that sealed the fate of that particular play. Once Blunt went down, he was taken out of as first option. No mas.
So it's 3rd and 14. Frazier looking for Zuriel Smith. Couldn't get it to him. Defensively, Jamel Stewart was there.
Well, I'm marveling at just how much the beginning of the second half here in Daytona mirrors the beginning of the second half at Hampton last week. You had Florida A&M come out with a score. Hampton had to try to respond. They couldn't. And then at that point, that's where the Rattlers were able to seize the momentum of the contest.
Tellis Bolden, his 5th punt of the afternoon. Rasheed Mathis at the 10-yard line calls a fair catch. That's where the Wildcats will take over. Let's check in with Ryan Baker.
Dwayne, not so many long faces down here on the Bethune Cookman sideline after the Wildcats were able to get it in the end zone early in the 3rd quarter. One of the assistant coaches told me it's very simple what we have to do to get back in this game. Execute, something we didn't do in the first half, not to mention turning the ball over. Back to you guys upstairs. Ryan,
do you get a sense down there that the players themselves, not just the coaches, but the Wildcats players, understand what lies ahead for them?
Test 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4.
We'll check back with Ryan in a moment. 1st and 10 at the 10-yard line. Well, Mr. Goggins paid for that carry.
Well, once again, Hampton's defensive front, namely Greg Scott, does a good job playing off his block to take away the hole that Goggins thought was going to open up for him in the center of the line. And he is having a terrific afternoon. Greg Scott brought a fire with him from Hampton that has been a spark for that entire defense.
Teams have been running away from him for a good portion of the year, but you understand why watching him. 2nd and 9. Goggins, nice fake in, and then Taji Parrish takes the pitch. Stutter steps. Tremaine Hughes forces him out of bounds, but just on that short play, you still saw what Parrish can do to a defense.
You can also see what Greg Scott does to an offense. He disrupted that play. His pressure forced Alan Suber to get rid of that pitch a little bit earlier than he wanted to, and that allowed the rest of the pursuit, the Travis Olivers and the Colemans and the Vincent Lewises, to come up and just string Parrish out and force him out of bounds.
Scott has impressed so many NFL scouts. They're talking so much about what they think he's capable of. 3rd and 7. Ball at the 13-yard line. Bethune Cookman, and down goes Suber, courtesy Hilton.
It's amazing. And this is not a blitz. This is just a 3-man downline bull rush, and they're able to keep Suber in the pocket. See, he's not even given enough time to look downfield. See, and watch the coverage. This is Coleman, who's no longer spying. Check that. Oliver, who's no longer spying on Suber. He's spying on Parrish.
Isaac Hilton, nice afternoon. Out of his own end zone. Danny Mathis is in trouble. Miraculously, he gets away a punt.
Wow.
Who says kickers and punters aren't athletic?
Hey, he just proved that to be a misnomer. What a play. And he gets a high five from Bubba Hubbard. Can you believe this? It's a bad snap. And once again, Fred Flowers is having a terrible afternoon long snapping and trying to get outside. Boy, Mathis does a great job.
And keep in mind, Mathis is not the usual punter. We were told that Zach Adrian was pulled simply because Coach Wyatt was not happy with his production.
Well, he had kicked about a 20-yarder in the first half that gave Hampton great field position.
Speaking of great field position, Hampton not in bad shape. Frazier on 1st down. to Michael Compton. But defensively, Jameel Stewart was there.
Stewart does a good job breaking on the ball. You know, decent protection that time, and in the presence of Frazier, just to use his mobility to buy him some more time. And this is a strike to Compton, who just waits for the ball to get to him. If he takes a half a step towards the football, he may haul that pass in.
2nd and 10 from the 34. Breaking up the middle for close to another first down. Travis Hales for Josh Oglesby and company. Track him down. Hales, 5'11", 180-pound junior from Richmond.
But you can't say enough about Clement and McCall. They're doing a good job dominating their hole at the point of attack.
3rd down. Hales again. Very close to a first down.
Well, it looks like Bethune is going to have to think about putting about 8 guys in the box. Look at this. This is the strength and power and force. Charles McDonald in there to finally bring him down. But it's going to bring up a 4th and short. And how's this? Joe Taylor's going to go for it here. Love this call.
So leading by 10 with 6:33 in the 3rd quarter, they go for it. And boy, is it going to be close. Bethune Cookman's defense greeted them at the line of scrimmage.
I'm anxious to see the spot on this one. McCall out there lobbying for a first down. But there was so much surge at the point of attack, it looked like the quickness, you know, outworked the mass on that particular play. But
the signal is a first down.
Not a great deal of surge at the point of attack. Smith runs into a wall of burgundy, but he just keeps moving and moving and moving. Even Mathis and Terrell Robinson and the cast of thousands couldn't drive him back.
So the Pirates' drive remains alive. 1st and 10, ball at the 24, Bethune-Cookman. Frazier off to Hales, who breaks tackles before he is grabbed and corralled down by Anthony Bubba Hubbard, someone whom we didn't hear a lot from in the first half.
You're absolutely right. He got a little dinged up early in the first half. But you know something? It's getting physical down there. Let's take a listen to just how hard it is.
Wow.
I'm going to ache in the morning after just listening to that
shot. 2nd down. Frazier off to Atavius Cash, who's going to throw to Zoriel Smith. Touchdown, Hampton.
Oh, man. You talk about going into the bag of trick plays. Fred Kais is pulling them all out. Flanker screen, which is what they were banking on pursuing, and watch the support come up. And when they do, it allows Smith to get behind Terrell Robinson for the touchdown. Oh, man, when you're having success running the football, it allows you to go into the bag of jiggy plays, and that's what you call an offense getting jiggy with it.
Bolden on for the extra point. It is blocked. That is Cash's 7th touchdown pass of the season. Zoriel Smith now has 3 touchdown receptions this afternoon. Pirates and Smith, all smiles, things going their way. They lead 37-21. 37-21 with 5:29 to go in the 3rd quarter. Ryan Baker on the sideline. That must have been deflating for the Bethune Cookman Wildcats.
Well, it seems like the Pirates zapped any momentum the Wildcats had with that last touchdown. Not so much that they scored, but how they did score with Hampton with that trick play, getting the touchdown right there. And I tell you what, some long faces again here on the Bethune-Cookman sideline. Back upstairs to Dwayne and Mark.
A fragile mental psyche. You know, Coach Wyatt talked about the difference in the first half was between their ears. Well, he's got to get inside their heads and soothe their psyches to get them back into this game.
They started off well at the beginning of this half, just a few minutes ago. Came out, scored, stopped Hampton, and appeared to have turned it. But on this last drive, Mark, things simply went Hampton's way.
Well, it was jump-started by a bad punt, and then Tim Frazier was able to establish the running game, giving the ball up the middle to his talented crew of running backs. Then he goes outside to Cash. It draws the defense up, and then Zuriel Smith gets behind the secondary, Terrell Robinson, and it leads to the 24-yard touchdown that caps our national car rental scoring drive.
So on first down from the 35, Alan Suber and Taji Parrish must get something going. Vincent Lewis chases Parrish out of bounds. It is so important now for the Wildcats, from their perspective, to do something productive on this drive.
Well, I think that the offensive brain trust of Bethune is setting Hampton up for one more big play deep downfield. You're going to see a couple of runs to the outside on either side, maybe a dive play, and then they've got to take a shot deep downfield because, you know, down 37-21 by 16. Clock does start playing into this game a little bit.
2nd and 4, ball at the 41. This time it's Eric Lash who picks up a first down. And so the Wildcats continue their march.
Now, don't be shocked if in the next few plays you'll see the option sprint out with Suber getting to the end of the line, and instead of making a pitch, Dwayne, he'll drop back 3 steps and look deep for a Hubbard or a Lash downfield. Now, you've had a couple of successful plays here, setting them up with the option, maybe look for a dive, and then Suber to air it out.
That led to first down at the 49-yard line. Suber keeps it himself, has room right up the middle. Sizable pickup for the conference's leader in all-purpose offense.
Well, I think he relishes the notion now, Alan Suber does, of making something happen. It's an option. He reads, okay, they're taking away my pitch man, so I'm going to take it up on the inside, and I'm going to take what the defense gives me. And what the defense does give him is about 7 yards and a 2nd and short.
Ball now at the 43-yard line. Travis Oliver and company have done such a good job defending the Wyatt Bone offense. Example, that play.
Exactly. Well, that's a dive. I think they've come outside a lot. They've gone outside to the left, outside to the right. It was just a matter of time before the dive play comes up, trying to bring the middle of the Hampton defense up towards the line of scrimmage, and now he'll be looking to go deep to either Hubbard or Reed or Lash.
3rd and 1 from the 42 for Bethune-Cookman. Movement along the right side of the Bethune-Cookman line. That appeared to be...
Looks like it was Tyrone Sapp.
Tyrone Sapp. And he's shaking his head. He knows what he did.
Yeah, he says, yeah, my bad, coach. Watch number 75. He'll move to the left side of your screen. And, of course, you can understand that with the kind of day that Vernon Woodson is having, number 53 in white, that he was trying to get a jump on, making some contact with him.
The life of an offensive lineman. He's noticed when there is a mistake.
That's it. Rare does he get props for the crushing block.
Passing yardage, huge advantage in those numbers. Suber on 3rd down. He's in trouble. Isaac Hilton has him.
Wow. Hey, there's a snapshot moment for you right there. It'll be rare that you'll see a defensive lineman track down Alan Suber from the backside before he can turn the corner. So snap this, Hampton fans. The pocket breaks down. If he can turn the corner and get past Hilton, he at least picks up the first down, but he gets the big meat cleaver up down there on him, and he hauls him in. Great play by Hilton that time to stuff Bethune-Cookman's drive.
Hilton, 6'5", sophomore from Charleston, South Carolina. Danny Mathis's punt goes out of bounds. Rain is falling at Municipal Stadium. Umbrellas are coming out at Daytona Beach, Florida, and Bethune-Cookman is trailing at home to Hampton, 37-21. Falling at Daytona Beach, Florida. Hampton leads Bethune-Cookman 37-21. First and 10 at the 33-yard line for Hampton. Robert Smith gets very little.
Boy, he had a...
This is a crucial game for the Hampton Pirates for so many reasons. But when you look at the road ahead for them, Mark Gray, next week looms so large.
Well, if this score holds true to form, then they can go to A&T with an opportunity to certainly not only be a spoiler, but to end the Aggies' title hopes as well.
Rain beginning to fall rather hard on 2nd down and 9. Timothy Frazier, the ball either got away from him because of the rain or he just miscommunicated with Atavius Cash.
Well, it is that kind of swirling, wet, windy rain, Dwayne, and that pass just went through the hands of Cash.
Cash, Joe Taylor told us, is just a guy who wants to be out here.
And you got to give a lot of the credit for the success of Tim Frazier this afternoon to Atavius Cash, sort of taking him up under his wing and helping the young fella this week.
On 3rd down, they elect to give it to Smith on the ground, and Jimmy Williams decides to stop him before he gets going.
So the defense steps up for Bethune-Cookman, and they still give the offense an opportunity. And it's only a 16-point game. And if I'm Bethune-Cookman right now, and I think that's what they're going to do. Single safety will be Mathis, 10 men on the line of scrimmage. You watch the all-out rush here.
Tellis Bolden certainly realizes they'll probably come. Gets it away to Mathis, who fields it and will try to return it. Out to the 30-yard line.
It's set up.
Has room along his sidelines, has a wall of blockers. But it's the punter, Bolden, that forces him out of bounds. Fine return by Rasheem Mathis.
Tellis Bolden, who guaranteed nobody would take it to the house against him this season, saved Mathis from going to the end. It's a great effort. 3 blockers, he shakes by his lonesome, and they seal everybody to the inside, and it's Bolden who's able to get, I guess, a hand or able to force him out of bounds. It's a good job of the coverage, check that, of the return team setting up a wall for Mathis to virtually be escorted down the sidelines.
49-yard return by Mathis sets up 1st and 10 at the 31 of Hampton for his Bethune-Cookman Wildcats teammates. Marcus Goggins is just smothered by Greg Scott on the fake, but Alan Suber has it and runs out of bounds.
Man, that fake was so good to Goggins that when Suber got to the outside and looked for a pitch man, there was nobody there. The fake was so good it probably actually shook the running back. Watch, he fakes the dive, he gets out, he looks like he wants to pitch there. It's like, wait a minute now, there's nobody behind me. Boy, I tell you, Alvin White's heart has to skip a beat every time Suber gets outside the pocket and he has that ball carried so cavalierly, shall we say.
There's a pickup of 4 on the play. Goggins into the secondary before Vincent Lewis holds on and brings him down.
Boy, I tell you, but Herndon again. Herndon and Sapp up the middle, open the hole. See Herndon and Sapp, and then watch him just follow that little hole. When they seal everybody to the inside, he can dance it to the outside and pick up big yardage. It is a goal-to-goal situation now for the Cats.
The 22-yard run sets up 1st and goal at the 6-yard line for Bethune-Cookman. The Wildcats trail by 10. Hampton defense bottling up Javon Henry. Greg Scott, Gerald Perry among those bringing him down. 15 seconds, 14 to go in this 3rd quarter at Municipal Stadium, Daytona Beach, Florida, our Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference game of the week.
The question is, will they get the playoff before the quarter ends?
Well, Goggins gets into the end zone, and it stands. Officials say yes, they did get it off. So Bethune-Cookman scores 6 more to close out the quarter. Do they sound the clarion?
The clarion, you said? And anyway, look at the line surge and the seal once again. You've got Joseph and Herndon doing a good job at the point of attack. and the incredible footwork of Henry and the power to take it to the end zone. We got to work on that clarion thing, though. Isn't that an instrument in the band? Oh, I'm sorry, that's clarinet.
Flags on the play on a point after attempt by Danny Mathis.
This is Danny Otto Mathis. Of course, what is that, 50 of 50 coming into this contest over the last couple of seasons?
Yes, and he obviously has been perfect all year. He is Mr. Automatic. He is the one aspect of this team that they can count on. Time and time again. Danny Mathis does it. Extra point. Bethune Cookman climbing back into it. Doing it on the ground. 37-28 at the end of 3. Daytona Beach, Florida, slight rain is falling. Bethune-Cookman and Hampton University in our Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference Game of the Week. Hampton leads at 37-28. Bethune just scored. Ryan Baker, Mark Gray, Dwayne Ballin here with you. Glad you could join us. This has the makings of a very interesting finish to this fourth quarter.
Boy, does it.
Michael Kidd's kickoff is fielded by Terrence Patrick. He gets out to about the 32-yard line. At the beginning of the game, Mark Gray talked about number 8 for Hampton, Zero Smith, and he has shown you to be a soothsayer.
He certainly has. Here he goes on the out pattern, showing his strength to take it to the end zone. Then a play-action fake. He's able to get deep into the secondary, and he scores a touchdown there. And then once again, off the apparent flanker screen and then pass downfield, he gets behind Terrell Robinson. So Zuriel Smith, if you had him on your fantasy team today, he'd have 3 scores, and you'd be smiling from ear to ear.
On first down for Hampton, it was Robert Smith with the carries. Zuriel Smith, boy, those numbers.
Huge numbers. Reminiscent of the performance that he had to open the season against Howard in D.C., where he caught the game-winning touchdown.
2nd and 10, ball at the 32-yard line for Hampton. The Pirates turn to get something going. Smith, Zuriel with the reception.
But you see the pursuit and the tenacity has reappeared on this Wildcat sideline, and their defensive unit is playing with a lot more spirit.
Well, Terrell Robinson was right there the moment he caught the ball.
Well, they tried to swing it to the outside, and the quickness of the DBs were able to take that flanker screen, or the bubble screen, which is what Alvin Wyatt calls it, away from him. Now 3rd and long, big play for the Pirate offense.
Very interesting down here. 3rd and 9, ball at the 32. Frazier, good afternoon so far, to the air, has a receiver, has a first down. It's Michael Compton, and he's wrestled out of bounds by Kyle Robinson.
Oh, they had the receivers out to the strong side of the field, running layered pass routes, and he goes to the underneath the layer. Well, check that, the over-the-top layer. The receiver to the outside is Compton. The 2-deep zone rotates to the inside to take Smith out of the play, and Compton is wide open for the first down.
That set up a first down. Robert Smith, running room, near a first down. So once again, the Pirates adroitly mixing run and pass.
Indeed, and this defense, the top-rated D in the conference, when they have to get it done, are not getting it done today. And it's a beautifully executed offensive game plan by Fred Kais and the Hampton Offensive Brain Trust. Really kept the BCC Wildcats off balance today.
Leads to 2nd and short. Smith again. Stopped by Josh Oglesby.
And see, Bethune-Cookman on defense is sitting back right now. Not aggressive, not attacking, not coming after Tim Frazier and Hampton like Florida A&M did last week. They were aggressive. They sent some linebackers or some blitzes to get him out of his comfort zone.
Well, this young man, Frazier, the sophomore quarterback for Hampton, 10 of 19, 110 yards, couple of touchdown passes. We cannot overstate enough how dramatically different he looks today than he did just 7 days ago.
Yeah, but you too at quarterback will look dramatically different when your running game is moving as well as it has been.
Robert Smith, flag on the play. Robinson and Oglesby down at the bottom defensively. But we'll wait to see what the call is from Sam Jones.
And Bethune is offsides. Somebody had to have lined up in the neutral zone or something.
Well, that keeps the drive alive for Hampton when it appeared that Bethune was going to turn the ball back over to their offensive unit. 12-12 to go in the fourth quarter of our Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference Game of the Week. Alvin Wyatt's Wildcats never really on solid footing in this game so far. 1st and 10 for Hampton. Tim Frazier hands off to Hales, who was just leveled pretty hard by Mr. Williams.
Yeah, Jimmy Williams, the rover, roved right into the right spot to run into Robert Smith. Well, he just lines him up and cleans his clock.
Williams, a 6'2", 220-pound senior from Miami. I guess that was a South Beach hit. 2nd and 5, ball on the 36. Frazier out of the shotgun. They lead 37-28. Intercepted by Rasheed Mathis. And he might be able to return this for a while.
He needs a block.
The quarterback, Timothy Frazier, pushes him out of bounds at the 20 or 19-yard line. The All-America, Rasheed Mathis.
This is the frustrated All-American who's so frustrated that teams aren't throwing in his direction. Well, folks, this is why. He led the nation in interceptions last year. It's an overthrown pass. Atavius Cash had found the soft spot in the zone, and the pass is overthrown right into the waiting hands of Mathis. And if he can get one more block, if Bubba Hubbard is able to pick somebody off, he could have taken it all the way home. And suddenly, this game has really swung back in the direction of Bethune Cookman.
That 72-yard return has Alvin Wyatt's Wildcats at the 19-yard line of Hampton. 1st and 10. They trail by 9.
You just had the feeling that Hampton had played a perfect game, and they were one mistake away from leaving the door open for the Wildcats.
Hampton scored first in this game when the man you just saw return the interception muffed the punt in the end zone, and Brian Sawyer jumped on it for the first 7 points. Turnovers, Bethune Cookman still with more. Goggins over the right side, and he is stopped after maybe a pickup of one by Greg Scott, who has been all over this field.
We talked about the baggage from last week. Similar situation when Mathis returned the punt for an apparent touchdown. They still had the ball, did the Wildcats, at the 28-yard line, and they weren't able to even get 3 points out of it. Let's see if the offensive brain trust at Bethune Cookman learned from that turn of events last week here right now.
2nd and 7 from the 16. Suber pitches back to Taji Parrish, who has a seam to run through. Travis Coleman got to him and knocked him down because Parrish had a head of steam going.
Well, you keep faking dive or running dive plays to Goggins. You fake the dive. It brought everybody to the center, which allowed the pitch to go outside to Parrish. People were sealed to the inside. See, watch. The dive brings much of the containment to the center of the field, and that allows Parrish to escape, take the pitch from Suber, and take it down to the 2-yard line. So Parrish over there talking to Coach Wyatt right now, probably trying to catch his breath.
This time, Greg Scott, Isaac Hilton, Stanley Autry all say no.
Yeah, they converged on Javon Henry that time as he was trying to go right up the middle behind the All-America candidate center, Deron Herndon. And, you know, it doesn't take a brain surgeon to figure it out. If you got a center that's as good as Herndon is, you're in these short goal-to-goal type situations, you go right behind that big fella.
2nd and goal from the 2. Movement along the interior line. Greg Scott moved, but he is pointing at someone on the offensive line of Bethune-Cookman.
Well, Herndon ended up all the way back in the secondary. So let's see what happens.
Well, the coaching staff of Hampton is seated next to us in the booth, and they are bamming their fists on the table in disgust. So if that's any indication, then their men jumped.
So it was against the Pirates. So Goggins comes off to catch a blow, and Alvin Wyatt stressfully gnawing. And let's watch Scott. He's the second guy from the top, and that's him jumping. He certainly did.
So it's 2nd and goal from the 1. Bethune down by 9, and Alan Suber is going to pull them 6 points closer.
Well, that's the swagger of number 7, and I think he's going to get a taunting penalty. Let's take a look at this right here, though. Alan Suber showing his quarterback leadership, his field generalship. Check it out right here. Suber faking the dive, breaks one tackle in containment, then he gets out and just cruises into the end zone and just stands there. Now,
Coach Gray, let me ask you this. Is that a fair call?
I don't agree with it. I don't think he did anything to show up anybody right there. That's just having a little bit of fun. He's not talking to anybody.
Your team's
I
down.
guess maybe it's his teammate. But here's an interesting situation. This could dramatically alter things.
It would, were it not that.
And he missed it.
Danny Mathis finally misses an extra point. An asterisk should be applied there, though.
Oh, my. Boy, you talk about the doors of controversy being open for another week here in Daytona Beach. Danny Mathis misses a field goal. You got to wonder about the call that led to it. And how?
Danny Mathis just missed his first extra point since November 4, 2000. Now, an asterisk, as we said, should be applied. It was 19 yards.
Yeah, but this was more like about, what, a 35-yard field goal, and it just hooked at the very end. And you can attribute that to the, I guess, the demonstration penalty that was assessed to Bethune Cookman after the touchdown. And, boy, they've called this game extremely tight.
Things getting very interesting here at Municipal Stadium, Daytona Beach. Terrence Patrick fields Michael Kidd's kickoff. He has a couple of blockers along the sideline. Micah Simmons and Isaac Jackson bring him down. Boy, let's take another look at this nice kickoff return.
I thought there might have been a clip up on the inside that might have sprung him right there. But then he gets a good wall and a seal to the inside. And Patrick, despite playing with a badly pulled groin, is having an outstanding afternoon returning kicks.
1st and 10 for Hampton at the 48-yard line. And Bethune-Cookman's defense will have nothing on the ground for Robert Smith. Oglesby leading the way. That scoring drive just now, Alan Suber asserted himself.
Yeah, that's right. The Tampa native who got mom and grandma back at the house, checking them out this afternoon. You know, his people normally make their way up here to every home game. They've got to be happy watching things on Sunshine Network today.
So it's 2nd and 10 from the 48. Frazier back across his body, has his tight end, David Blount, and he doesn't go but so far. Jimmy Williams on the tackle. MEAC scores brought to you by Coca-Cola today. Howard by 10 over South Carolina State in the 3rd. Morgan State beating Norfolk State up in Baltimore at the half. And Delaware State leads Savannah State down in Georgia, 14-10.
You know, the pass finally goes to Blunt on the previous play, and that's a guy that Joe Taylor really wants to get more into the passing game.
3rd and 8 from the 46 for Hampton. Frazier to the air, has Zuriel Smith, who picks up a first down. That may have been a huge reception and first down.
It certainly was. And once again, it's a two-deep zone, but they go away from the rotation of the coverage with Rasheem Mathis into the area of Terrell Robinson, and the pass goes right over Robinson's head to a waiting Smith, and he picks up the first down.
First down at the 31-yard line. Robert Smith doesn't get but maybe 2 steps before Charles McDonald wraps him up.
Well, if you're Joe Taylor right now, you got to start thinking about 3 points here, because Bethune-Cookman is still in a position that with a field goal and a great kicker like Mathis, that they could tie this thing up with a long bomb. So basically, Joe Taylor's got to play a little conservative, but I think right now if he's got one of those gadget plays, he might be able to get it into the end zone.
Pick up a 1 on the play, 2nd down. Smith again. This time he gets more. There is a flag thrown in the offensive backfield. It probably will come back.
Yep, thrown in general direction to James McCall.
Ryan Baker, Mark Gray, Dwayne Ballin here. Daytona Beach, Florida, Municipal Stadium, our Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference Game of the Week. Bethune-Cookman and Hampton University, both of these teams still with an opportunity in the conference championship race.
Offensive holding,
That matters like that don't help.
It certainly doesn't. Boy, you talk about the proverbial drive killer. And that may have been big number 75, James McCall, who moves to guard from his tackle position. And this makeshift offensive front with an entirely new right side has done yeoman work this afternoon, Dwayne.
So now it's 2nd and 19. Ball at the 40-yard line for Tim Frazier and the Wildcats. He's under pressure. He gets it away, but great defensive closing by the Wildcats. Let's check in with Ryan Baker.
Hey, Dwayne, the message I'm getting from the Hampton sideline is to not be conservative, but to keep it aggressive, keep the heat on Bethune-Cookman, because they know how quickly they can score and put points on the board. The other message, no turnovers, what we saw in the last series, that is exactly what happened. They turned it over, and Bethune-Cookman was able to convert and put some points on the board and make it a 3-point game. Look for Hampton to keep the pressure on and try to get in the end zone and not just settle for 3 points as the clock ticks down here in the 4th quarter.
Well, Ryan, what about down on the Bethune-Cookman sideline? They've been up and down all day. Any sense for where they are right now?
Absolutely. That's a great assessment. It's been up and down. I mean, they've had a couple things go their way, a lot of bad breaks go the other way. Right now, as you can imagine, things are on the upswing as they feel they're right in this ball game, ready to make something happen and get a win if I don't get hit with the football. Back to you guys upstairs.
Well, their defense, Ryan, is certainly stepping up, pressuring Tim Frazier to throw it away, and they're going to force a punt here. So they're going to get the ball back to their offensive unit. Jimmy Williams leading the way, and it's hard to get a sense, Coach Gray, whether or not momentum is changing or it's just idling.
It's clearly on the side of Bethune-Cookman right now, if you ask me. Their defense steps up, they score, they come back out of it. Bad kick return, special teams let them down, the defensive unit steps up. You know, you got to feel good if you're Alvin Wide and company right now.
Tellis Bolden kicks it away. Rasheed Mathis will not go anywhere near it. This could be a nice punt if it's down, and it is.
Wow.
The 1-yard line. Tremendous coverage by the Pirates.
That's you at Sawgrass, isn't it? Just hitting it over the sand trap, getting it to go right on the green, and it lays right there by the hole.
My ball keeps going, though. Pirates, great coverage on this punt. 37 yards passing, 36 yards rushing. So he has a balanced attack. It's just marked the volume isn't there today.
Well below his season average of almost 260 yards by his lonesome. And the same thing can be said for Taji Parrish. Parrish came in the averaging 110 yards total offense per game, and he's been kept in check as well.
Well, Suber and the Wildcats starting at their own 1-yard line, trailing 37-34. And Greg Scott stops Marcus Goggins at the 5-yard line.
Well, see, this were the big nasties up front, the Herndons and the Josephs and the Franklins, Sapp and Brandon Suber. They got to assume control of this game. This is where you as an offensive line have to impose your will on the Hampton D front. You're bigger than them. You're more physical than them. It's late in the game. It's humid. You should have worn them down by now.
2nd and 7 from the 5. Pitch goes to Parrish, and he goes nowhere.
How about the spy coming up? Coleman once again. Coleman strings it out and sets it up for Darul Diab to come up. See, 27 doesn't buy it. See, he stays at home and forces the pitch. Then 16 plays off his block, Diab to make the initial contact. And Travis Oliver, once again, doing a good job as spy, forcing Alan Suber out of his comfort zone. You know, Suber's so great at field generalship, running that option, making the decision at the very last minute. He's been forced to make pitches a lot earlier than he would like to today.
Loss of 2 on the play on 3rd down. Suber in his end zone, dancing around, gets out of it, being pursued. Isaac Hilton almost got him. but he held him up long enough for Willie Bennett and Stanley Autry to get over and take him down.
Boy, there was just absolutely no place for him to go. Everybody knew that Suber was going to be the person they had to stop, and watch the pursuit. It's relentless. From the backside, it's Hilton. He shakes him there, and then once again making a tackle from behind is Travis Oliver, who's been ubiquitous this afternoon, to say the least.
Oliver, Bennett, all in pursuit on that play.
But I think we've got a penalty against the Pirate defense.
Defensive holding apparently was the call. So you talk about your big breaks in a game. 4:46 to go. Bethune Cookman seemingly out of options, about to punt away from its own end zone, trailing 37-34. This gives them new life. First down, drive still alive.
And that's what Joe Taylor is asking. Where'd you make that call? What are you talking about?
So it's 1st and 10 at their own 16-yard line for the Wildcats. Suber pitches at Taji Parrish.
Well,
and Hughes traced him right out of bounds.
You can forget the option for the balance of the day. Hampton's too disciplined and they're staying at home, and I'm a little shocked that Bethune is persistent in running that. They've been faking the dive and trying to get outside the Parrish, but the dive play isn't working because the folks up front are doing a good job thwarting that option in the option attack, and everybody's staying at home when they get outside. Alan Suber is going to have to make plays vertically downfield with his arm if Bethune is going to steal this game.
No gain on the play. 2nd down and 10. Looking for Parrish.
That's a lateral.
If that's a lateral, then that's a touchdown.
Yes.
Travis Coleman picks it up and scores a touchdown. Suber looking for Parrish.
Well, let's take a look at the reason that this play is in fact a lateral. It's not a forward pass because he tried to swing it out in the flat and it's well behind the line of scrimmage, well over the head of Taji Parrish, picked up by Oliver, and he takes it to the house for the score. And that, ladies and gentlemen, with 4:13 to go, you can just about seal the fate of Bethune Cookman.
Tellis Bolden's extra point is good. And the Hampton Pirates, with Lady Luck taking the form of Travis Coleman, get 6 more. 43-34, they now lead Bethune Cookman. The loser of this game, for all intent and purpose, is done in the conference in regards to the race for the championship.
You're absolutely right. Hampton needed this win to at least continue to breathe for another day, and Bethune Cookman not able to shake the baggage from last week. I mean, this has got to be a very disappointing performance. A little quick swing pass that's normally a safe quarterback-friendly route leads to disaster.
And if you're Alvin Wyatt, I would imagine you feel pretty comfortable knowing it's Alan Suber working to Taji Parrish.
You couldn't ask for a better scenario in that case, but I think that the offensive brain trust of the Wildcats have been a little bit too conservative.
Well, Alvin Wyatt cannot believe what is happening. When he thought his Wildcats had it going, they make a big mistake. Here at Daytona Beach, on your left, the man with the lead. On your right, the man trailing. Coach Gray, what are they thinking?
Well, the man on the left is thinking, what a great game plan. It's worked to perfection. And the coach on the right was thinking, what was my offensive coordinator thinking about calling a screen pass that close to the end zone?
Interesting exchange on the kickoff just now.
This benevolence is absolutely unbelievable to me right now. I'm trying to figure out what was going on here. Were they trying to go for the onside kick one more time to seal the fate of the Wildcats early? I mean, you're up by 10. Your defense is playing good. I don't know if that was a missed kick or whether or not that was a design play, but whatever the case is, it has resurrected Bethune Cookman's chances, albeit temporarily.
Very interesting. So Bethune Cookman, 1st and 10 at the 33-yard line of Hampton, trailing 44-34 with 4:08 to go. Taji Parrish, Eric Lash around the left side.
And he does get out of bounds, so staying with the wide bone and the option, fake the dive and get to the outside. But Hampton right now is really doing a good job of not only taking away the first option, but everybody staying at home and forcing Suber to pitch. So Hampton's defense has decided, look, anybody else can beat us but Alan Suber, and Suber has not been able to really make a big play vertically with his arm all day.
1st and 10 at the 21-yard line. Taji Parrish in motion. Suber keeps it. Pickup of about 3. And once again, Mr. Travis Oliver.
Oliver coming up, playing a hybrid, part safety, part linebacker, staying at home, forcing Suber back to the inside. He stays at home. He takes away the pitch man and forces Suber to come back towards him so he can make the play.
Oliver has been everywhere this afternoon. Rush, 18 yards, 18 rushes for 34 yards for Suber. On 2nd down, Suber looking to throw, going across the middle. There was a lot of traffic there, and he was looking for Taji Parrish.
Well, he's trying to find Taji Parrish, and Parrish is there if he can hold it for about a half a count longer. But why can't he hold it? Look at number 99. Put that lick on him. Greg Scott, a half second late from nailing Suber for the sack, but he disrupts the pass route, and that's just as effective.
3rd and 5 for the Wildcats at the 16-yard line. 3:21 to go in our ball game. Alan Suber out of the shotgun. Has a receiver.
That looks like
Eric Reed. And that's a 1st down. And now Bethune Cookman is poised to make it a very interesting finish.
Well, Hampton left the door open, and this is just a little quick in pattern. Nothing fancy. Playing space, forcing Hampton to have to guard players one-on-one, and they weren't able to do it that time.
On 1st and goal, Suber rolling right, under pressure, to the back of the end zone, looking for Eric Lash. He had to throw it long.
Yeah, he had to throw it long, and he couldn't step into it because Darul Diab was bearing down on him, and he was trying to see. Watch number 16 come up, and it forces him to release that pass earlier. But again, even under duress, nice touch to give Lash an opportunity to catch that football.
In case you're wondering, Bethune Cookman has 3 timeouts left. Hampton has 1. We're at the 2:57 mark. Left in the game.
Up and Hampton
On
moves.
2nd down, Hampton's interior line moves.
That looked like it might have been fatigue. Isaac Hilton that time. Well, it is kind of warm this afternoon, and watch 93. Just had a brain cramp for a split second. When it's 80 degrees and about 60% humidity, I'm shocked we haven't seen a few more.
On 2nd and goal, it's Goggins, and he loses a one-on-one battle with Travis Oliver, who has been all over this field today.
Wow. This is just a tremendous job by Oliver and Goggins one-on-one playing in space, and Oliver wins that battle. I mean, he's not buying any fake, any pitch. What a tackle.
And what's interesting about that, that's the precise type thing that coaches work players on in practice time and
That's a
time
drill.
again.
Exactly. That's why you drill them. I am really shocked that they went outside. You know, because when you go outside, it's longer from point A to point B. Well, that's just a great, great tackle right there by Oliver. Locking him up and driving him backwards. Big, big play. See, this is a situation where I think they would be best served to continue to look to go with that dive play to the fullback. I mean, you know, by running outside, it allows the secondary and the linebackers more space to cover the player to keep him out of the end zone. Now you got to go with your quick hitting stuff. So it'll be interesting to see this is a huge, huge play, not only in this contest, but for the conference. If Bethune-Cookman does not score here, they're effectively going to drop to 2 losses in the conference and be all but eliminated from conference championship status. As far as Hampton is concerned, they're trying to stay away from that 3rd loss.
3rd and goal from the 1. Suber, under pressure, has a man open in the end zone. Touchdown, Eric Reed.
Boy, there's the savvy and the presence of Alan Suber. As soon as you think you have him, he's able to buy himself some more time, make a read, and he finds Reed in the end zone for the score. And don't turn this one off just yet.
Danny Mathis on to begin a new streak. Is that extra point good? We have a 3-point ball game at Municipal Stadium at Daytona Beach. Bethune-Cookman will not go away. 44-41. Stadium in Daytona Beach, Florida. Hampton has all of its sure-handed players, including that man receiver Michael Compton, up close, anticipating an onside kick by Bethune-Cookman. A 3-point game with 2:35 to go. Ryan Baker, Mark Gray, Dwayne Ballin with you. Our game of the week, as good as billed.
Yeah, you see the Michael Comptons, the David Blunts, Coleman, Oliver, Christopher Parker, Zuriel Smith, all those guys on the hands package for Hampton.
It's going towards Smith, and he easily handles it. Maybe that was the last man they wanted to kick it towards.
Well, that was a really good attempt at the onside kick. And I'm not quite sure, coming down in coverage, if anybody saw him make this indication for the fair catch. And let's wait for Sam Jones's call.
Alvin Wyatt nervously pacing the sidelines. Tim Frazier, pretty solid afternoon with a sophomore quarterback. On first down, it's Robert Smith, and he's wrapped up quickly. William Hudson leading the way. Frazier, we mentioned, had a shaky game against Florida A&M last week. Boy, did he come back and play solid today. This timeout has 1 more left. Hampton has 3. Wildcats have been fighting an uphill battle the entire afternoon.
Interesting play call here for Joe Taylor. Do you throw and try to keep it in the center of the field and move the chains, or do you continue to run?
On 2nd and 11, Frazier rolling to his left, wants to throw, can't do it, and is run down by Jimmy Williams. Of course, as football season begins to wind down, we start to think about the round ball. And next spring, in March, be sure to make your plans. Richmond, Virginia, the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference basketball tournament. For more on it, go to www.meacsports.com. Mark Ray will be there.
I certainly will. And I hear you'll be there, too.
Sounds good. Timothy Frazier leading the Hampton Pirates. So far, it's been good. 2:12 to go in this game. 44-41, our Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference game of the week.
Big situation right here. Okay, Bethune is out of timeouts, but it's a 3rd down and 15 situation. Hampton, it would appear, has to throw the football. And that makes a player like Rasheem Mathis so important in the contest of the Wildcats defensive scheme right now. If you're Joe Taylor, you got to be thinking, all right, if I run a trap play up the middle, it may not pick up the 15 yards, but the clock will continue to move. If you throw the passing play, you got to think down the center of the field in the seams because you don't want your receivers to go out of bounds. Simply put, it's all or nothing right now for Bethune, and everything rests on the top-rated defense in the conference right now.
Ball at the 46-yard line of Hampton for the Pirates. Decision-making so crucial at this juncture, not just for Alvin Wyatt, but for Joe Taylor. A 3-point game. The loser will simply play out the string in the conference. Here we go. 3rd and 15. The sophomore, Timothy Frazier, over center. Behind him, Robert Smith. Zuriel Smith, wide right. Frazier to the air, looking for Michael Compton.
I am very shocked at that play call.
Well, Kenny Heatley was there defensively.
And now Bethune is going to get the ball without timeouts. They're still going to have 2 minutes and 8 seconds, needing only a field goal to force overtime. Dare I say the word? That sends hearts fluttering who have to make flights from Daytona Beach to all parts north.
2:08. Here's a punt by Tellis Bolden. And the Bethune Cookman Wildcats will not field it. 1:57 to go here at Daytona Beach, Florida, Municipal Stadium, our Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference Game of the Week. Ryan Baker, Mark Gray, Dwayne Ballin with you, our entire MEAC TV crew. Folks, this is the best one we've had all year. This is a great finish.
Well, if you're a senior and you're on offense and you're wearing burgundy and gold, that's all you want is one last opportunity with the ball in your home building, your house, with a chance to win it or force it into extra football. I mean, it's good stuff. And you got a great quarterback in Suber, arguably the most complete set of skill players in the conference. Let's air it up.
1st and 10 from the 23. Suber has Taji Parrish down along the sidelines. He's out of bounds. And the two principals get a first down.
Hampton playing soft defense, so Suber is just going to survey. Loftus underneath to Parrish. Nothing fancy about what's going on here. Good pressure. Hampton's only rushing 3 guys. They're playing coverage. Parrish is able to work himself free and pick up up near a first down.
Close to a first down. He stepped out of bounds, then tricked me when he went back in and continued to run. 2nd and 1 at the 33-yard line for Bethune-Cookman. The Wildcats have trailed this entire game. And Hampton, for the most part, has played a near-perfect balance on offense and defense. Alan Suber, those numbers, nothing like what we've been accustomed to seeing from him week in and week out. They will bring the chains out to measure.
Yeah, but you got to give Alonzo Lee and the Hampton University Defensive Brain Trust, props for a solid game plan of basically coming out with that 4 linebacker, 3 down lineman set, the proverbial 3-4 defense. And it's really confused and disrupted what Bethune-Cookman wants to do with the wide bone. And Parrish does pick up that first down. So the Wildcats off to a good start here on this critical drive.
So we're at the 150 mark, folks. 44-41. Hampton leads Bethune-Cookman here at Municipal Stadium, Daytona Beach, Florida. Isaac Hilton, Tremaine Hughes, the members of that Hampton defensive unit have been present for most of the day, but now they need to be accounted for. 1st and 10, ball at the 33. Suber looking to throw, decides to run. Remember, the Wildcats have no timeouts.
Hampton playing pretty soft and willing to give Bethune-Cookman just about anything that they want underneath. Now, I'm a little shocked at why and the offensive brain trust of Bethune hasn't allowed Suber to create a play.
Out of the shotgun on 2nd and 4 from the 40-yard line. Suber with time to throw, but no one's open. Now Lashes, he's along the sideline. Gets out of bounds. There are flags. There's a face mask. and this is going to be a huge net gain for the Wildcats.
Oh, my. Things have just changed on one play. Alan Suber surveying, buying some time to get outside the pocket, and he finds Lash, and he's going to get an extra 15 tacked onto it. Checking it out right here. This is Suber calmly under center. Remember, legitimate sophomore, sitting in the pocket, looking. Nobody's there. So he's going to go to his last man. That's Lash. He's short, breaks a tackle there. Going to take it tightrope down the sideline, and somebody gets a hand up around the face mask. And look at Suber calmly surveying, looking second, third. Last option is Lash. And I can't see who it was that got the hand up there. But now, Bethune-Cookman sitting pretty inside the Hampton 30.
Wildcats, first down at the 22-yard line of Hampton. Suber, Isaac Hilton nearly had him. Tremaine Hughes does get him. Remember, no timeouts for Bethune-Cookman. Clark continues to move.
Now we're inside a minute.
44-41. Bethune-Cookman trailing and moving.
And if you're Bethune, do you keep the ball on the ground because you know you're in Danny Mathis turf?
Suber out of the shotgun again. Time to throw once again. He's going to run again. Has an open field. Does not get out of bounds. Stopped by Willie Bennett at the 9-yard line.
But the clock will stop with the first down. With 35 seconds to go. It's a terrific game. Look at Suber stepping up in the pocket. Now he downs it, but Suber once again freelancing, improvising, and making a play.
Our Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference Game of the Week. What a game it is. Bethune-Cookman and Hampton University going down to the Wyatt Municipal Stadium in Daytona Beach, Florida. 3 points separate the two.
Well, if I'm Bethune-Cookman, I think I put the whole burden of the offense on Alan Suber right now. I wouldn't even worry about pitches or handoffs or passes because this is what Suber can do. Stepping up in the pocket, and remember, 4.3 speed, turns on the jets, is going to outrun a lineman and a linebacker. He's brought down by Coleman. Check that, Willie Bennett, the senior cornerback, coming up to save the touchdown, and Joe Taylor stressing over there pretty good right now.
Coach Taylor wants to talk about it. He calls a timeout. Alvin Wyatt, his team was seemingly out of it a couple of times, but they have gotten back into it. Suber, 21 carries for 58 yards rushing.
Yeah,
but to do everything.
But he's made the plays when he had to here down the stretch. And once again, the Hampton University Pirate defense for the second week in a row falling apart in the second half. I mean, it's amazing to watch Hampton, after giving up 27 points last week after the intermission, come back today. And, well, basically you got to wonder what was going on with that onside kick. That sort of opened the door for Bethune-Cookman to get back into a position right now that with 31 seconds to go, they got a chance at winning. And there's Alonzo Lee right now trying to look for answers that he couldn't find last week. And there's Mathis, you know, Lee, who's been on the hot seat a little bit in the Hampton area. You know, some of the Pirate faithful holding him accountable for the woes the defensive unit has been facing for the last few weeks. Boy, he can at least put the clamp on those mouths temporarily.
So Alvin Wyatt sends his Bethune-Cookman Wildcats out onto the field. 31 seconds to go, 44-41. Hampton leads. First and goal from the 4. No timeouts for Bethune-Cookman.
He fumbled.
That's a loose ball. Hampton recovers it.
I don't believe what I saw. Javon Henry and Alan Suber's exchange, and Alvin Wyatt has to look once again and figure, I can't believe what just happened. And I don't believe this call because Suber had been directing the offense so well. Just let him make a play. Just let Alan Suber make a play. Forget the handoff. Forget the option. Let the quarterback get outside the pocket and you reduce the amount of danger. But Hampton holds on, and it looks like they will escape with a hard-fought victory.
And it was recovered by that man, 27, Travis Oliver, who has done a masterful job roving around on the defensive side of the ball for Hampton.
That tells the story right there, Dwayne.
So now 26 seconds to go. The Pirates, with Timothy Frazier quarterback, will simply run out the clock.
I don't blame all of it for that.
I'd like to thank the media relations directors for Bethune Cookman and Hampton, Charles Jackson and Patricia Harder, respectively, for helping make this telecast much easier.
And thank our crew that has helped us out immeasurably in the booth today.
Johnny Tyus, our executive producer of MEAC Football. Today's game produced by Mr. Tyus, directed by Chuck May. Statisticians Julius Benford, spotter Eugene Jackson, stage manager Darrell Wilson. And Hampton University is simply running out the clock.
And Johnny, it's great to have you in the house with us. We're going to miss you as you gallivant through the various time zones that your work takes you to. We're going to miss you over here on the East Coast. This is a terrific football game, but I tell you, there's going to be some conjecture here in Daytona Beach, and it's going to be pointed in the direction of the offensive brain trust for the next couple of weeks.
Bethune Cookman, Hampton University, give us a good one till the end, but it's the Pirates walking away from Municipal Stadium with the victory, 44-41. Zuriel Smith and the Pirates still are alive in the championship chase. Smith and Alan Stuber, our players of the game, as Rasheen Mathis can't believe what just transpired. Final score, 44-41. It's Hampton over Bethune Cookman. This has been a copyright production of MEAC Sports in association with Topspin Productions. It's Hampton over Bethune Cookman. Next week, join us from Greensboro, Hampton, and A&T in a big one. Next week, 3:30 p.m. From Daytona Beach, Dwayne Ballas saying goodbye. In center ring, spotlight on him. How will he fare? Waiting in the other corner, the Hampton Pirates. They'll have a lot to say about that. That matchup next.